All right, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Hope you're doing well out there. Hope you're having a great time out there in internet land. If you guys can hear me all right, if the volume is good, let me know. It's been kind of a little weird here today. Dealing with this. But hopefully you guys are good, doing good. Everything's working out all right. And it's good to see everybody here in the chat. What's up, everybody? To all the members, Lucy J, Ginger, Danielle, Fallout Zone, all you guys up here in the chat, BLT, Mimi, who else is here? Coke Fairy. Let's see what other members are here today on YouTube. Good to see you guys in the chat. Also over there on Rumble, what's up? A Job Done Well. We got Do Not Mind Me. We got Danielle over there. And a couple other folks joining in. So make sure you're coming in, smashing the like button, liking the content. It helps us out, helps us get out there in the algorithm. And that's what we are trying to do. I have a lot to talk about today, and I have a feeling I'm going to get pretty worked up today. So this is going to be a good one. I'm actually fairly excited to do this one because I really think that nobody else is going to have a good take on this. There might be one person who has a good take on this, but that's going to be about it. This is going to be one that I think it's just going to be me. It's going to be me out here with my opinion, and then everybody else is going to be off, try to do something else. They're going to distance themselves from me after this one. We're probably going to lose some subs. This is great. So let's get into this today. Let's get into this stuff. And by the way, people, it's the football game. Oh, the big game is on. If you are still watching the NFL after they've told you they are gay, and they've got that black national anthem up there, they're going to have the Latino national anthem. They're going to have the Asian national anthem for the one Asian player, like the one guy. I don't know what to tell you. You might as well join the Murphys. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And what's up to everybody in the chat? Good to see y'all over there. And locals, good to see the DJs on locals up in the house. What's going on? Squid, Three Beers, Mimi, Riser, Ralph, Vealhammer. Good to see y'all over there in the house. So, what's up? Ice Cold Wolf, good to see you, brother. All right, let's jump right into it. I got a lot of shit to talk about today. But the first thing I want to say is, before we go anywhere, oh, Piberos, it's your first live stream. Welcome to the Legal Mindset. All right, so let's do this. The first thing I'm going to do is do a little dance, right? Is do a little dance here, a little victory dance, because right now we've got confirmation that the Shane Cashman articles are gone. This is from my good friend Tug. I've retweeted his thing here, but they have taken down all parts of the Shane Cashman article, probably because, like I said, I believe it was probably defamatory. There were some statements in there they're making about people that just weren't true. These guys pulled all of them. Why? Because they lost their credibility. They lost their credibility. The whole reason why Timcast was a thing, the thing that made them big, that made Timcast, was that they weren't the mainstream media. They were supposed to be more objective. They were supposed to not have these biases. They're supposed to look at things through a lens that's, hey, we're just looking at the issue. We're going to look at both sides of the issue. They didn't even present the arguments. They just painted everybody who dare opposes Queen Blue as an evil, misogynist troll, the worst of the worst, the bottom feeders. These are the type of people they bring in there. Make no mistake, those are leftists. Those are leftists pretending to be neutral, pretending to be politically homeless. They built that. He built something that is not far off from any other given lefty commune. It's like a center lefty commune. And not even that center, just sitting on the fence because that's what makes the money. Moving that little inch made them enough money, but they're being exposed for that. I am glad this came out. I am glad that people have dropped them, and I'm glad that people are waking up, and they're wanting people that honestly have an opinion. I have more respect for the people on the left because at least they own their shit. At least they walk out there and own their shit. They would have walked out there and simped for Eliza and just said, hey, we're simping for her because this is our policy. This is what we do. All we do is simp for our queens. And they stick to it. But Timcast came out and they're hypocritical. And the worst thing, and we're going to talk about this today with Sydney Watson, the worst thing is a hypocrite. And when you see Tim Pool doing the same shit, it's hypocrisy. That's why you had to pull this. Grift Slip said, read the filing this morning. Curious about your take. All right. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting, guys. We're going through the actual complaint. So it's going to be rare. You're going to have content creators that are going to comment on it, but they're not lawyers. And then you're going to have lawyers that are going to comment on it, but they're pussies. So, and I'm going to be honest, there are a bunch that most of the lawyers that are going to comment on this, they don't have the balls to actually come out and say some things. They're like, Andrew, you can't say that, Andrew. Andrew, that's controversial. You can't talk about the ladies like that. The ladies are going to get mad. I don't give a shit. I mean, it is beyond giving a shit. JDM Reed, Timcast became mainstream news. It became the thing it was trying to oppose. In doing this, they've become the thing that they were supposedly supposed to oppose. Hilarious. Slack says, prayers for the quartering and his impending Me Too accusation in about a year from now. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to read it, but Jeremy did make a statement regarding Sydney and Sydney's lawsuit. And here's what I'm going to say. I don't know what type of work he's going to be doing with Sydney. I know that, he said he's friends with her. And I get that. You're friends with somebody, you want to remain loyal to them. That's fine. But don't pretend like you have a neutral opinion. You don't. If you're saying I'm backing up someone because they're my friend, you're not analyzing this neutrally, bro. If you're just blocking for, you're simping for, you've got a position. It's biased. And I think because they do a weekly show. I didn't know that. Thank you, Mimi. Appreciate you calling that out. Got you, girl. Thank you. I did not know they did a weekly show. Yeah. Okay. RIP. And look, here's the thing. Here's a good point. Some of you are like, oh, Jeremy, this Jeremy. Jeremy was right about Eliza Blue. He did great work with Eliza Blue. And I fully support him going after Eliza Blue. However, simping for Sydney, I mean, this is going to get him in trouble. And working with her, are you insane? Any person who would work with somebody after this, you got to question them. You got to question them. You guys are gonna see. We're gonna get into this. My first read through got me pretty mad, but I'm really happy though that this got exposed regarding Timcast. I'm glad that their credibility has tanked and they've been exposed for what they are. They've been exposed for what they are. Speaking of accusations, I saw one that to me was kind of hilarious, which is Megan Hall filing a lawsuit claiming she was groomed. I gotta find this lawsuit, but if Officer McTrain is gonna allege she was groomed, I mean, this is next level. This is next level. Officer Bang Bus over here. Man. Yeah. This is a lot. This is a lot to believe. Couple things here on locals. Let me get to these real quick. So Ben SC says, Shane for $1 says, Shane wrote an article thinking with the wrong head. Yep. Too many guys are thinking with the wrong head, guys. You're thinking with the wrong head. And that's the problem with a lot of this is that people are just looking at Sydney and saying she's kind of hot because, okay, I'm not going to lie. Look, I'm the only guy who's going to say this and be real with you guys and have real talk. Sydney is an attractive woman. She's attractive, right? She's not unattractive. She's not ugly, right? She may not be hot, but she's attractive, especially in America. Her BMI is under hippopotamus, right? But just because of that does not mean you give her credibility, even if you think she's attractive. Yes, be very careful with my words. I said attractive, not hot. Point of the matter is, you can think that, be like, yeah, she's attractive, you know. But the problem is, where they're getting you is this: they're pretending to politically align with you for the grift. The women know this now. They're doing it intentionally. They know that it is an open market. It's like cosplay. They understand those cosplay models. Cosplay models can never be a real model. They will never stand up on the catwalk. They'll never stand up in Victoria's Secret. They'll never be in Playboy. They'll never be in any sort of, they'll never be in porn, for example. They can't do those things. They're unable to. But they say, ooh, if I downgrade, I can become a cosplay model. And now I can get all these simps because in the cosplay world, I'm top tier. In the real modeling industry, I won't even make the bench. I can't even warm the bench. I'm disqualified. But I can go warm the bench with cosplay. This is what they're doing right now. They're saying, hey, we can't do it in the left because they're all weirdos. They don't want pink hair. But if I go to the right, all I got to do is just be mid. And if I'm mid, that's good enough. Don't settle for mid. Don't settle for these mid fake tradcon women. We're going to talk about that, especially when it gets to that part of the complaint. Let's continue here. Did you see her comment that she won't name her abuser because it's liable? But she'll call it the rest of the world her traffickers precious. Yeah, that's the problem with Eliza Blue. Eliza Blue is ridiculous. Nate's in a $1 tip. Andrew, they have a joint LLC and they're going to have a regular show. He is fucked. Honestly, Jeremy is an idiot for doing that afterwards. From a business standpoint, that's dumb. And I'm just going to say, forget about it being even Sydney. Having a joint LLC with one other person is dumb. That is 90%, more than that. I did this. I worked in this area. 95% of these small little companies, when you're starting up and it's two people, they break up because at one point you have an issue. That's going to be an angry, this is going to be something that's dissolved. Just forming an LLC is something you do not do with one other person. I'll get to the point when I want to. This is the point. Ben SC says, Quartering and Sydney do a show together. He was very open about the fact that he and Sid are friends and have been for years. He said that he was not in a position to comment because he is not objective. Good. Okay. That's a better comment. If that's what he said, if that's what he actually said, then you know what? That's a better comment. And at least he acknowledged his own bias. Then I can forgive Jeremy for that. And look, I told you guys, this is why you agree with people on issues, but you do not worship them. Let's work together where we can on issues, but let's not get into this. I've got to adopt their lifestyle. I've got to 100% be them. Stop that. Because your idols have flaws too. Everybody has flaws. Take what you can, what you want for your own life, and use it your own way. Do your own thing. Stop trying to be like these people. Squid says, not sure how Jeremy is behind the scenes, but he's not openly degenerate like Elijah was, and Sydney was very uncomfortable with that. Yeah, and we'll get into that. And by the way, I'm not letting Elijah off the hook. To be completely honest with you guys, like just my take on Elijah in general, I always thought Elijah was fucking weird. I never watched You Are Here because Elijah came off to me as a weirdo. When I saw him, I was like, he's kind of cringe. I can't watch this guy. Hearing him speak makes me kind of feel weird. I frankly thought he was playing for the other team, if y'all know what I'm saying. Like, I didn't think he was even straight, which I don't care about. I really don't give a shit. But, it was just very, very interesting. So let's dive right into this. Let's not waste too much time here because I wanna get right into this issue. Zoom in here. Okay. Ooh, that's a bad quality photo. Let's see if I can find a better one. Well, obviously you guys know that Elijah and Sydney, for those who need background, because some people might need some background here. Obviously, Elijah and Sydney had their podcast together, You Are Here. And, you know, they had some big guests on there. They had some big moments, and we're going to get to those. But, you know, they worked together for a decent amount of time. I mean, here's the photo of them together when they're on the stream together. You know, the You Are Here logo, those who don't know, right, or what this was. They worked together for a while. I'm not really sure exactly how long their podcast went for, right? But for a decent amount of time, they had a podcast, and it actually was getting a decent amount of traction. They were doing all right. You know, and it's like any other podcast. Some people like it. Some people don't. It's their cup of tea. It's not their cup of tea. My good buddy, Nick Rekieta, was on that podcast. So Nick could talk about his experience on there. And in fact, we're going to see in this lawsuit, we have a Nick Rekieta appearance. Nick Rekieta could be deposed for this lawsuit. Nick Rekieta could be testifying in this lawsuit, which would be amazing. Wolfsbane says, one thing I learned the hard way is never get in between two women fighting. Never ends well. My advice to Jeremy. Oh, yeah. That's great advice. Just be the kaiju, you know, let them fight, you know, let the kaiju fight. The Ken Watanabe rule. Thank you, Griff Cast Clips. Welcome to BLM. Welcome to the Base Legal Mindset. The best membership out there. You have the access to the Discord, the emojis, everything. Dylan98 says, idols have many flaws, but yours are tolerable. It's what can you tolerate, right? You know, what can you tolerate? Maybe it's me talking about Thailand, Thailand ladyboys too much. That offends you. And by the way, I'm going to piss off the Tradcons tonight. Tradcons are not going to like me after tonight. They're going to be mad. Tradcons real mad after tonight. Okay, let's start out here with the complaint. Let's just roll right into this. So here we go. This is the actual lawsuit. This is raw, unfiltered, uncut. Here's what we got. We'll do this that way. Okay, perfect. So we've got this district court, Northern District of Texas, Sydney Watson versus Blaze Media LLC. Of course, she's suing Blaze, not Elijah, because Blaze has deeper pockets. And because she obviously is going for a workplace discrimination lawsuit. And here's where I'll start. Sydney Watson bringing this type of lawsuit under these causes of action in and of itself is a feminist and inherently socialist method of procedure. By claiming protections in this way, by making this attack, she's using the same methods. It's as if you yell about free speech when it's Jordan Peterson, but if it's somebody you don't like, let's say it's fucking Destiny or somebody you don't like, whatever, whoever, you start trying to get them deplatformed. You try to get universities to not host them. We got to be fucking consistent here. You can't pretend to be mad about feminism, but yet use their greatest tool, one of their greatest weapons. This shows you the hypocrisy just in the fact that it was filed, in the fact that this is a real thing. This was filed on the 8th. This shows you and exposes that they don't stand by their words. It's their actions. You judge them by their actions like any person. And if their action is, hey, I'm going to file this lawsuit on the basis of my sex, not breach of contract, not tortious interference. It's weird. People are saying, okay, if this stream has an issue, guys, somebody will say the stream has an issue. Try refreshing it. But internet's looking good right now, so everything with the stream should be fine. $10 from Ginger Ninja said, watch Elijah pop in and on one of Nick's streams, Elijah got drunk, let loose, and it was all pretty cringe. I had to turn it off for a while. The next day, You Are Here podcast was canceled. Damn. And look, two things can be true. Two things can be true. Elijah Schaffer can have problems, right? Elijah Schaffer can have problems. And Sydney Watson can be a feminist, an internalized feminist, a misandrist, someone just like Tomi Lahren. If you haven't seen Tomi Lahren's epic rant at all men, you should check that out. But Tomi Lahren and Sydney Watson are peas in a pod. They are in the same camp. There's no difference between them. The fact that you saw anything different is your projection onto them. Elijah can be cringe. He can be bad, right? That's fine. By the way, even a cringe person is worthy of due process, is worthy of being innocent until proven guilty. Even a cringe person. I would defend Jack the Cuck Murphy in due process. I'm consistent. Everybody deserves due process. But when you see the Carfax, when you see the hook come out, when you see the videos, you're like, all right, I've seen it. You want the evidence. But once you've seen the evidence, you're like, all right, I've seen a lot of the evidence. I don't need to see any more. But everybody deserves that due process. Even the people you find cringe. And I'm going to say that. I don't like Elijah. I would never watch his shit. He comes off as a weirdo to me. Like, I would not watch his shit. He might be a fine dude. I don't know him. Nick would be able to tell you better about him personally. I haven't met him. I don't know the guy. Just from what I see online, I don't watch him. So let's start here. He's suing the deep pockets. He's suing Blaze. Blaze has the money. Let's go. And this is actually not that long. It seems long, but it's not. Miss Watson has suffered injuries from the derailment of her multi-million-dollar career. Full stop. Full stop. This is what this is about. This is about her career. Okay? Her career. For those that may need it, let's highlight this right here. This is about, first and foremost, her career. This is not about her traditional principles. This is about her career. It's about the money. These women, these TradCon girls, just care about the money, about their career. They've gotten this far, especially when I'm talking about these girls. I'm talking about the influencers. I'm not talking about your Graham. I'm not talking about the girls that never come on the internet. I'm talking about the influencers. I'm talking about the conserva thoughts on the gram, on YouTube, the real TradCon girls, the real ones. I'm talking the real ones. You will never see them on camera. You will never see them. They don't want to be on camera. All Sydney wants is her career. That's what she cares about, is the money in her career. She does not care about your conservative principles. This is not about traditional principles. We're going to get there. But make no mistake about that. Squid says, I'm not sure how far Sydney is going to get with the lawsuit. I'm biased because I enjoy her content. But the fact Elijah was eventually fired for the same kind of allegations made by another woman. Yep. And I'm aware of the Sarah Gonzalez thing, but once again, that has nothing to do with this particular lawsuit. Even if he has a history, she's got to prove it here in this specific instance. And from what I understand, I'm not sure the other one has been proven in court. I'm not aware of that lawsuit. So I'm going to not comment on the Sarah Gonzalez incident because I don't know enough about it, just know enough to say, hey, it's an allegation at one point. I do not know the resolution of that one. I'm focused on this one right now and on Sydney. And the fact that, look, Sydney had a good take. She had a great take with the Vice's, with the Vice episode. The Vice episode where she was there with Pearl and whatever, and she was pushing back against the rabid SJW, sure. Any like sane person, left or right, would have had a problem with what those crazy people were saying. Yeah, she gets on that issue in that moment. You get support, but not carte blanche. Breaking your contract. There's a reason why she didn't sue for breach of contract. There's a reason why she didn't sue for that, why she had to go for this. Over on Locals, Squid sent a $10 tip saying, I hope Jeremy doesn't have to learn the hard way that you never should go into business with a friend. I've never seen a friendship survive a business partnership. It ruins it. It ruins it. I was speaking with a good friend who's a lawyer down here, and he has a neighbor who's a nice guy, but he's like, look, he's my neighbor. I don't really want to be friends with him that closely because we're going to have, property line disputes, boundary stuff. This is here, this is there. You want to put some distance between business and friendship. Same thing with family. Put that away. But let's go here. So she suffered injury, derailment of her career in conservative commentary. So that's what she's concerned about here, right? Is she a conservative? I'll let you guys answer that question. Is she a conservative? And they were creating a hostile work environment, right? A hostile work environment, allowing sexual harassment and discriminating against her on the basis of her sex and religion. Guys, this is at its core, the concept of a hostile work environment is a feminist socialist notion. It's the notion that we should cater our work environment in one specific way to a specific gender's preferences. And it ain't men. I hate to break it to you. It ain't men. This is moving the needle, moving the yardstick. This is showing people on the right where the line is. This is her shifting the yardstick. This is why corporate America will die on the vine. It doesn't matter how based your staff is. You bring in these based ladies, they're going to be filing these suits too. Whether you're Fox or whether you're MSNBC, it doesn't matter. The Blaze's conduct was continuing, pervasive, and appalling, particularly in the light of the Blaze's representation to its audience of largely conservative Americans that it stood for traditional values. We're going to get into that. I want to go into this when she gets into the part. The Blaze, founded and run by Glenn Beck, told its audience that it protected traditional values. This is a key word here. Traditional values. Pay attention to how much they say this. And practiced integrity. This was the reason. Because she believed that she was TradCon and she aligned as a TradCon. This is what they're saying here. Remember that. But Blaze instead catered to the demands, tantrums, and misbehavior of another young rising star, a male. Once again, demonization of males. This is demonization of men. Look at the framing of this. And by the way, this was written by male lawyers. Granted, one of them's out of California, which is already questionable enough. A white male. But this is how programmed these people are. That they can write this and not get cognitive dissonance. Only, I'm going to say it, as an attorney, if I was in a law firm and I'm the associate and they ask me to write these words on the paper, you are a cuck. You deserve the Jack Murphy beard memed everywhere if you write these words on a paper as a male attorney. This is absolute giving up your integrity as a dude to write this down and frame it in this way. The problem is the framing. The problem is the maleness is the problem. The fact that you are a male is the problem. It's not the fact that you committed a crime, because by the way, crimes are still illegal. If there's assault or battery, we don't need this to prove assault or battery. File the crime. File the crime. You can't. That's why. There was no crime committed. This is literally on the basis of you being a feeble woman, and oh noes, the evil misogyny is here to strike again. That's the framing of this. There's nothing based about this. Long after Miss Watson was demanding justice. Justice. What type of justice? Social justice. This is the same thing. Look at the language they're using. Much of the abuse was perpetrated by this individual, Elijah Schaffer, but Ms. Watson's claim also implicates the officers of Blaze not interceding to correct the problems they created that occurred in front of them or brought directly to their attention. Ms. Watson complained of it in December of 21 to August 2022 to personnel at the Blaze, including the CEO. They did nothing to address it and therefore breached their legal responsibility, i.e., we don't want to go after Elijah. We know the Blaze has more money. And here it is. Who should have protected her rights and integrity. Once again, so feeble, we have to protect you. You need our protection. You are weak. You are lesser. That's what the lawsuit says. And in this basis, look, if you're a feminist, if you are a true feminist, you'd be like, look, we don't need this. This is not something we need. You could use the regular law, use normal law. If you're so strong, so independent, so equal, you want to prove you don't have to use social justice, but you use their tools. But what's the problem? To stop getting Mr. Schaffer to stop talking about dick so much. Yeah, I said it. We're probably going to get in trouble, guys. So can you guys do me a favor right now? I just said the word. So can you guys please, if you would be a favor, smash the like button for talking about dicks? Because we're gonna get it's probably a little no slap on the wrist there, because we just said dicks, right? And apparently that creates a hostile work environment. So you're all in a hostile work environment right now. All of you right now are in a hostile work environment. All 983 of you here on YouTube, all hundreds over here on on Rumble. And let me pop this over here to show you guys what's going on Rumble here. But Britt Cormier says, you want a hostile work environment? Join the Marines. All corporate offices I have worked in, from startups to Fortune 500 companies, are children's playgrounds compared to any unit. Exactly. They wouldn't make it 2 meters in the Marines. Wouldn't happen. And let me catch this one. Agreed. All people can be acting poorly in this instance. Elijah always made me think this guy is not right. Sydney may not be flying straight and the Blaze could be a bad place to work. However, Sydney is about to hit the wall and it's her big payday. Long term, who is going to hire her if she wins? Apparently, Jeremy is enough of an idiot to do that. Just saying. Just saying that. So you guys are all in a hostile work environment right now. Hunch says for 10. The Blaze saw what type of cash pool pulled in with the IRL, so they made a show to try to get those dollars. Watson is big mad that she didn't make it big or big money and she wants hers. Timing is sus. Yes, they literally just were like, okay, we need a mid-hot. We need a mid-hot girl. And guys, this is the grift. This is why if you look over at the manosphere, it's all women. They've realized that they look at, for example, like Fresh and Fit, and they say, oh, look, it was the ladies that made them big. Guys were bitching about women forever. But you know what made it big was when the girls get involved. They see girls like, ooh, girls, grog smash. They see Pearl and they're like, oh, well, she's sort of tradcon. I want to smash her. And so like, all right, let's get a mid girl. Let's throw her out there and people are going to simp. The tradcons are going to go crazy. It doesn't matter that she's in her 30s. She doesn't have a BMI of an orca. Sorry, guys, but that's a 7 in America now. I'm sorry to say, but if you're not morbidly obese, you're kind of at a 6 or a 7 by default because you're already above the average. You already beat 70% of people in America. So they're like, let's get an above mid girl. People saying Pearl's not trad. Of course she isn't really. Of course she doesn't deeply believe these things. She's just like the rest of them. They're all the same. But here's what you do. You take the good stuff from them. You take the points you agree with. Okay, I agree with them on that. But then understand they're going to be what they're going to be. Why would you expect them to be anymore? I'm not mad at Sydney for being programmed. That's how they all are. That's a shame, says, I didn't see Kurt Schlichter's name at the end. I would have sworn this was written by a lib. Oh, no. No, it was not written by a lib. It was actually written, honestly, here's the thing. It was written by a TradCon guy from all I can tell. TradCon military guy, Semper Fi sort of guy. This guy who wrote this was in the military. And my military brothers out there, Britt, you tell me, does this surprise you? My military guys out there, I know you guys are out there in the chat, and you guys see it too. You tell me about it and you see it. But these guys, TradCons are the ones that simp and they put down the money. And that's where these women saw that. That's where Sydney saw the opportunity. Pilgrim Media said she is not a straight area. Girl be hinky. Listen, I don't know much. Like I said, people say in the chat, oh, Andrew, you're not an expert on Sydney. Okay, I know lawsuits. And I've seen this before. I've represented companies where we've gotten complaints like this, and I can smell bullshit because as a corporate counsel who's seen these things, I know exactly where they're coming from. It's always about the money. And like Britt said, and was very accurate about, when they're hitting that wall and they've cashed out, unless they found that husbando, they're looking for that husbando check. They want that husbando payday because they know they're coming up against the wall, and that sexiness, the cuteness, the being the little above mid conservative thought, that's not going to hold out forever. There's going to be a young girl who sees the same grift and gets in. You're just going to be cycled out. It's like OnlyFans. Eventually, you're going to get cycled out. IFID says Elijah and Sydney are average at best, to quote Kevin Samuels. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. Pleasure meeting that guy. He was a fucking genius. Very smart. He didn't even show all of it on the show. But I met that guy in Miami. Very smart guy, very real guy. He owned it. He just fucking owned it. By the way, he wasn't messing with the mid-tier 30s girls. I'll tell you that. I saw Kevin Samuels with women. He was not messing with the mid-tier 30s girls. He didn't fuck around. That man had the good cologne and the good ladies. No, I know. And by the way, I know that he's a military dude. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the TradCon guys are often the guys that simp the most for these type of girls. They fall for it. They believe it because they want to believe. They want to protect. They have that nature, right? They have that inbred nature. And they don't stop and ask the question, hey, shouldn't we be asking the questions just like with Amber Heard? Shouldn't we be asking these same questions? Shouldn't we say, wait a second, you've got to prove that? Or do we just believe her because she's conservative? Have we gone from believe all women to believe all conservative women? No. And if I'm the only guy who's willing to say that, if I'm the only guy who's willing to say, oh, no, we shouldn't believe all conservative women either, I don't care. I don't give a shit. And I know people are going to be big bad about that. Oh, Andrew, misogyny. Fuck you. That's literally a social justice warrior analysis. JM says, hey, had to give Kevin Samuels a little break. KS. He's running for judge and jury. Odds of getting mostly women or simps is good. Well, if you're talking about Kevin Samuels, KS, that's RIP Kevin Samuels. Fluffer Boy says, so glowies are green. Some of them are blue. That is good. This is good. This is a good one. This is a good one. By the way, on my channel, I read all the super chats, and we're going to get into this because part of this lawsuit is reading all super chats. I'm not shitting you. This is how crazy this is. This is insane. Rocco's Life says, no eggs, hit wall hard, pay me re. Exactly. That's how it goes for all of them one way or another. Squid says on locals for $10. As a USMC vet myself, I can tell there's a very large portion of vets that actually are weak pussy simps who like socialism and communism. I had a friend who was in SEAL teams. I'm not going to say which one. I almost said it. He was on a SEAL team, and he backed me up a lot when I got in some trouble in Miami. We were out doing, night game talking to girls. But he would be the first one to tell me, he said, Andrew, the guys I work with, these are guys who are killers, who are just stone cold. They are just weak at the knees for these chicks. And that's the cognitive thing there. You know, it's just like they could kill somebody in 10 seconds. They could kill me in 2 seconds. I don't doubt that, right? They could just end my life. But those women are ending their wallets. They're just, it's like their critical weakness, their Achilles heel, right? That's the spot. And it's that semi-trad pussy. Let's continue. And we're definitely, guys, please like this because we're definitely going to get censored for this. I'm not allowed to say these things. They're going to get big mad at this. Even the conservatives are going to report me on this one. So here's the party. Sydney Watson, who lives in Texas, right? Oh, look, she lives in Texas. Does that make her automatically based because she's in Texas? Come on. Blaze Media, also Texas. So they're applying Texas law here. And where I say Texas law matters is that there are a lot of protections for religion. A lot of protections for religion here. Let's see over here. Sorry, there's a couple chats I want to make here. Oh, Britt says for $5 on Rumble, Rumble rant. Only people I believe without question are my brothers in the core. All others need to be questioned. Hey, at least you've got a standard. At least you've got a standard. And then here on here on YouTube, let me get Rabbit One says reads all super chats, but just skip mine. Love you, Grift Harder brother. I got yours. When did I not get yours? I got all yours, Rabbit One. Don't be lying here. Don't be lying here. What was your earlier one? Let's see. I'm gonna check it. Oh, it got censored. So you did an unbreaded duck censored because of YouTube. Why did it censor that one? It didn't even send that to me on StreamYard. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. When StreamYard starts censoring me, it's kind of that gets odd. Oh, that is kind of weird. Interesting. Oh, wait, did I not read this? Or maybe it showed up now. I don't know. Weird. All right, let's continue. Enough of this weirdness. Oh, yeah. Griff Class Clip says lawsuit hangs on her not understanding her role in the show. She thought she was a star, atheist influencer who went after girls of Melbourne site. Yeah, look, Sydney is an atheist. We're going to talk about that. And that's the basis here. So she's kind of speaking out both sides of her mouth. So we'll get to that real quick. Venue is proper, the Northern District of Texas. This is one of the few things I agree. The venue and the jurisdiction, clearly this is a Texas case. It clearly falls under Texas law. So Miss Sydney Watson is a promising young voice in the conservative commentary space. Let's be clear. Okay, she is self-describing as a conservative. So she's calling herself a conservative. So when I call her a tradcon, it's not just me putting that label on her. She's calling herself a conservative. She's saying she joined for traditional values. Put those together. Traditional conservative. That is what she's calling herself. They demonstrated her multi-year agreement that would pay Watson significant amounts. The maximum value is approximately $1.275 million. So, guys, mind you, what does this mean? As a lawyer, what does this mean? This is probably including all bonuses if she maxed them out and they performed to the top of her game and everything went fucking crazy. They had wild success. They became as big as Tim Pool. They became the biggest podcast on all of YouTube. This is what she would make. Did she put in the work to get there? No. Did she generate the value? No. This is a back door. This is why it's socialism. They want that value. She is trying to extract $1.275 million without generating any value for them. Yes, there's some, right? Okay, part value. This isn't A for effort. This isn't fucking drama class. This isn't creative writing. This is work. Work is supposed to be value for value. We're going Daryl Brooks on this bitch. You get paid money. I pay you money to shut the fuck up and work. And we've gotten into a world where people are whining, oh, my benefits. I don't have a sauna room. Oh, there's no Starbucks that's close by. They're bitching and moaning. That's what the money is for. You are paid to do the work and shut the fuck up. Do the work. But they don't want to do that. They want a back door to shortcut to the money without actually having to do the work. And they're using their pussy power to get there. And people say, oh, she's 29, 30. It doesn't matter. If y'all do a little research on the phases, shout out to my boy Rolo here. This is what they call the epiphany phase. She is in what is called the epiphany phase. That's when they wake up and realize it. It's a mental thing. It's not a physical thing. It's not about 30 being a magic number. It's about a mental thing when the switch in their head flips. They realize it's not about if people get so balled up, 30-year-olds or whatever. I've met hot 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds. I'm in Asia. Guys, I'm in Asia. There are hot 50-year-olds here. I'm in Thailand right now. I see hot 40-year-olds, 50. They're looking banging. They're smoking hot. It's not about their body. It's about the mind. Grifty says, have Defend go on to talk about defamations. I'd really like to hear you break down the whole thing. I'll consider it. We'll see how long that one goes. If there's a complaint filed, then sure, right? If there's a complaint filed. Wolfspain says she's suing over supers. From what I saw, they branded themselves as a super chat stream because Tim didn't read them. Yes, and we're going to get to the Murphy moment. Oh, trust me, we're getting to Murphy. Stay tuned. Jack Murphy makes a prominent appearance in this one. And I don't want to spoil it. There's this one gets me worked up. This case gets me worked up. Tank Imperator says, former vet here, Denmark. A lot of that simply is because the idea of family has been destroyed. Women have been told that they don't have to be wise and can sleep around and still get desirable men, so they settle. And Tank, I feel you. I feel you, brother. And you guys are getting fucked. In Canada, in America, Western Europe, you guys are getting fucked. And I'm over here, I'm in Thailand this week. I normally live in Korea. I'm flying around. I'm probably going to stop by Kuala Lumpur, somewhere close by, just to check out Malaysia. I've been in Japan a lot. I just came back from Singapore. You guys are getting fucked because, I look around and I see people with regular families, with undivorced families, who have a father figures around. I'm like, the West is, dude, you guys are just getting fucked. And I get it. I get why it's desperate. I empathize with it. But we have to be better than that. We can't let them continue to tear us down individually. So let's continue here. Man, I'm getting worked up today. Smash the like button if you guys like this type of content. Oh, by the way, Sancheski on Rumble Rant, $5 says, please, God, watch Eliza Blue on the Timcast parody by Mike Harlow later. If we have time, I will do that. Thank you. Or I'll pull it up on a separate stream, but I do appreciate that. My friend. Oh, also Protocaster for $5 says, there are a lot of women believers in here. They're simping hard. Seems like we might have some Farron rejects in here. That's all right. Listen, I love my female viewers. Shit. What actually gives me the white pill for me, guys, the white pill, is that I know a lot of y'all are actually female viewers, because I know my viewership is 50 to 60% on certain streams, women. So I know there's base ladies out there. They're just not the content creators. They'll consume the content, but they're not the content creators. It takes a certain amount of narcissism to be a content creator. I'm going to say that. And when I see that in a girl, in a female, right? That's a giant relationship red flag. Smash, baby, but definitely not relationship. Jurybox says EM mistake was full-time studio used to head into the riots with Antifa hunting him. Put guns in his face and beat up. Might have been too wild for the place. Maybe it's possible. Wait, did I miss this one? Oh, Renee right here, $49.99. Thank you so much, Renee, who says the ideals of the West are also spreading to Latin America. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate, because I love my Latin brothers. Being from Miami, based as fuck. I know people from Colombia, Cuba, all those people based as hell. Shout out to IFID. You know what I'm talking about? IFID, my boy in the chat. From countries where they actually see socialism, like Cuba or Venezuela. Unfortunately, that shit percolates down there, and the culture percolates, unfortunately. Even here in Asia, it percolates over. Nowhere is safe. There's just better and worse. And let me be very clear. I don't say that it's immune. Everywhere is bad. It's just less bad versus bad. Anyways, let's go here. The pay was only one factor in her choosing the Blaze. Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm calling bull. You name the price. Pay obviously mattered. Here we go. Right here it is. The Blaze represented itself as an incubator of habit that accelerated the careers of such conservative. So calling them conservative as Dana Loesch and who is it? Who is it? Our girl, Tomi Lahren. What did I say? She's putting herself intentionally. This is a woman who is voluntarily putting herself in the same camp as Tomi Lahren. This is a person who low-key does not like men, does not like masculinity. In fact, I don't think now that she's filed this lawsuit, it's not so low-key anymore. It's pretty fucking clear. She put herself in, you had to name the one person who had the I hate men quote. She chose this. This is her decision to put this in there. This is what blows my mind. And if you haven't seen that one, if you haven't seen that rant about men, go watch that. Go watch the Tomi Lahren. Okay, Half Hour says you don't know Tomi. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll show it at the end. Let me Google this right now. Tomi Lahren. Let's see. Let's see if we can find this video real quick. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Let's see if we can find this one real quick.
This is a PSA.
Okay, here we go. All right, you guys ready for this? Let's maximize this. I'm just pulled up a random video, so this may not be the one, but this is her done dealing with trash men. Okay? If you haven't seen this girl, here she is. This is her ally. This is who she wants to be like. This woman.
This is a PSA for all the men out there and all the boys who think they're men, but they're actually boys. This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. If all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think it might not be us. It might be men. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country. I am tired of dealing with trash men. If you want to mix in people like me and people like my friends who are go-getters, please don't mix us in with the Tatianas. If we find out that you are also talking to 5 Tatianas who have nothing going on, Houston, we have a problem. It will be a cold day in hell when I chase a man. Not one single man.
Are you done yet?
On planet Earth.
Are you done yet?
Is worth making any woman feel like she is not good enough.
There it is. Okay. All right. I think it segues into a Dr. Phil episode, so we're not going there, right? But are you guys? Yeah. What is a Tatiana? She calls women who have normal jobs, and she calls housewives Tatianas, because all of these career women hate housewives. They hate traditional mothers. Why is that? Because they're not traditional. Holy shit. They're not traditional. They're not what they're marketing themselves as. They hate them, though. They fucking despise them. And they hide it, and they hide it, and they hide it. But you push the issue, they all hate mothers. They hate them because they can never be them, and they will never be them. And they know that they're happier than they ever will be with their career that was supposed to be satisfying for them. But they are deeply unhappy people. A person like Tomi Lahren, who says that about men, is a deeply unhappy person. Deeply, deeply unhappy. They pretend, they give this facade of the bad bitch life of the boss bae. They are drinking wine alone with their cats. Wolfspain says, don't forget Sydney was an Aussie. How conservative is that in comparison? There's lots of spicy stories about her from the land down under. Listen, I've said this before. I'll say it again. And I love my Aussies. Look, I was over here. I just talked with a lot of Aussies. I was down in Pattaya the other day. There's lots of degenerate old Aussies down there. And some Aussies, like the old generation, can be based. But I'm saying like the younger generation, guys, your Overton window in Australia and in Canada has shifted. Your right wing in Canada and Australia is like center left. At best, it's center left. Jordan Peterson, I would consider him more like center left almost in some of his positions. It's certainly not Very conservative, particularly by American standards. That being said, Tomi Lahren, that's who she was bunking up with you right here, Tomi Lahren. You know, that's the Carfax there. Let's see. Let me make sure I caught everybody here. Oh, sorry, Rumble, got some catch up on Rumble. Lord of Tree says for $2, Rumble rant. While we're talking about grifting, check out my music, and actually I'll show you over here so people see you. Lord of Tree says, while we're already talking about music, Grift my music, Long Walks on YouTube and Long Walks music on Rumble and Bandcamp. Support independent music or something. Yeah, you and Vibe AI holding it down. Lord of the Ree, not the tree, the Ree. Britt says, didn't realize Sydney called herself an atheist. How can she bring up anything about religious discrimination? Atheism is not a religion. That's a great question. Anyone who would use it needs to piss off. Yep, they're not really an atheist then, are they? They believe in something, because to me, atheism is just, hey, I don't commit to one religion, you know, and I don't necessarily, I can take it or leave it one way or another, whether there is some sort of divine being. Well, then you're technically an atheist. You're not subscribing to any religion. All these women have an issue, but with men, it is their issue. When you leave a house and run into an asshole, you run into an asshole. You run into an a-hole all day, you are the a-hole. Yep. Definitely agree with that for sure. All right, let me get back here. Throw this in here. All right. Man, working me up today, guys. Working me up. All right. So let's continue here. The Blaze represented itself as living the moral values that its talent, including Glenn Beck, preached to its audience. So they preached about living the moral values. Yeah, that's pretty. So they're going to make this moral. They're going to make this a moral thing. Based on its representations, Miss Watson expected her to be part of an environment that will allow her to grow and develop, but also treat her with respect and dignity, right? So this is the thing. They want that dualistic nature. They want that dualistic nature. They want the provider. They want the money, but they don't want the responsibility. That's the thing here. That's what we have a problem with. They want the respect and the dignity, but they don't want to do the things that earned those respect and dignity. You are given those things when you earn them. When I respect my brothers, when I respect my guy friends, it's because they've done something. They don't walk in owed that. They earn that. They don't want to earn it. Miss Watson, Sydney, doesn't want to earn that. There are plenty of women that I respect and love and I think are amazing women. And let me say that. There's many women that I will say, this is an amazing woman. Shout out to my good friend Christina. I respect her a lot. Radix. She was doing a good job. I think she's covering this as well. I may invite her later, right? I respect her a lot. But it's because she's earned it and she's put in the work to earn that. People don't just get the respect because you're a woman. You have to put in the work. Nina, I love Nina. Anna, that Star Wars girl, good friend of mine. We've met, and her behavior has led me to respect her because I've seen what she does, not because of what she says or she signals or she's kind of based. I don't go fuck like that because she's treated me with respect. She gets it in return. Let's go back to that standard. By the way, guys, we're almost at 90K. Please make sure you're subscribed. We're almost there. If you guys just subscribe, smash the like button, we're going to hit past 90. We'll get to 100K. No problem. No problem on this. Fluffer Boy, by the way, says, had to send a Rumble rant because YouTube wants to suppress the grift. Never allow the grift to be suppressed. Never allow the grift to be suppressed. The grift must flow. It's like the spice in Dune. The grift must flow. All right, let's go here. So they were the production on You Are Here. We know about that fact. Here we go. The You Are Here was an internet-based show centering on politics and culture that streamed on the Blaze and was supported by subscriptions. It was not to be sexually explicit nor actively misogynistic. Watch this word. Watch misogynistic. They use this over and over again, but they never define what that means. Does that mean talking about dicks? And by the way, People say, oh, I should talk to Sydney. Sydney has said she doesn't want to talk about this because she knows she would have questions asked. And by the way, that could hurt her lawsuit. I know why she's not doing that. The questions will be asked and they would nuke her because she knows for her conservative audience on video, she would have to answer the questions real. She's not going to be held accountable. Sydney, yeah, I would love to have her. I would interview Sydney. I would interview her, but she would never come on because I'd ask her the real questions and she would get uncomfortable. She would get real fucking uncomfortable real quick. And she'd call me a misogynist. She would say I'm discriminating against her, even though I don't define by the way, I don't define myself as religious. You could call me agnostic or atheist, whatever the fuck you want to call me. I don't give a shit. I don't like putting a label on that. She'd say, I'm discriminating against her. I would never bring her in as a business partner for sure. Would I interview her? Sure. She'd never agree to it. She would never agree to it. We all like talking about dicks here. We all can be a kind of a dick sometimes. All right, let's continue here. Miss Watson is informed and believes that Mr. Schaffer was subject to the same general employment terms, not necessarily to pay and benefit. So then she puts in the program terms here and the terms of the contract, how many episodes she was supposed to produce, the production, right? They're going to produce it there in Texas. They're going to get paid. And right here, these are just general agreements. The talent will render the services in connection with the engagement to the best of the talent's ability, subject to the company's direction and control. The talent shall abide all reasonable rules, regulations, and companies and performance of the services. It never said you got to talk about dicks or your cut. Like, I don't get where she was getting that stuff from. I don't get that. Okay, so let's continue here. The show was initially successful, and it was. By the way, I don't knock You Are Here. It actually did good, but that's, I think, because there was a longing in this space for new content. People wanted to get away from the Beanie Lord and have some good content. And by the way, I think there is room for good content, but there's going to just be what's going to happen in the manosphere on the right and all these other conservative spaces, these base spaces. They're getting co-opted by women. And you know what that happens when that happens. That's why you need the separation. That's why when I say, hey, maybe certain workplaces need to be completely separated, this is what I mean. This is why. In the West, it becomes more and more obvious why men and women, we just can't work together in certain contexts. Because this type of thing is going to inevitably happen under our legal regime. The incentives are too high. The incentives are too high to protect you from grifters like Sydney Watson, who's going to come in here and sue. The incentives are too high. They can't resist that. There's no incentive for them to be your little trad waifu. They can do that, take your money, and then sue you for more. So Mr. Schaffer's persona was increasingly aggressive and veered into outright misogyny, right? Once again, what is outright misogyny? What was he say? I don't name these specific things, right? He appeared to enjoy the intimidation factor that his physical size gave him. So is Sydney saying that she was scared of Elijah's size? First of all, how tall is Elijah Schaffer? And isn't Sydney Watson kind of tall too? I thought she was like a tall girl. Aren't women supposed to be as strong as men? Isn't that a thing now? Okay, Elijah apparently already 6'1". Okay, 6'1". So what's Sydney's height? She's kind of high. Is she like 5'8"? 5'6". So she's 5'6". Okay. So she's 5'6", 6'1". That's not weird. You know, she throws on heels. She's pretty much the same height. And first of all, this is not MMA. They're not, fighting each other here. So, but they had to throw this in. This is part of the feminism. They want to make it so that your size, not your behavior, this is it. Your behavior is not at risk here. It's your size, your body, something that you have no control over. Imagine if that's the other way. Imagine if you said, she's so fat, it's intimidating to me. You would be sued for that. But instead, they can turn around and look at you as a man and say, because you're bigger than me, which almost all men are going to be bigger than your contemporary woman. Oh, you're taller than me, and therefore I'm at threat. I get to sue you. I mean, yes, I guess Tim Pool would be okay, right? Tim Pool would be fine because he's really short, right? It's fucking weird. And they put this in their lawsuits. This is the grounds for our law. This is the foundation of our due process, is this insanity. This is where we're at. This is reality. This isn't me making things up. That's why I love reading complaints, because it's not hyperbole. You know, when you hear Tim Pool going, civil war, it's hyperbole. This is what's happening right now with conservative women. It's fucking nuts. Flux is saying, so what you're saying is there's a biological difference between the genders. Are you a biologist? No, apparently I'm a misogynist, not a biologist. It's a different area of law. I got my PhD in misogyny from my school of They Belong to the Streets. The PhD from Future. Grift Class says, Shane tweeted double down on his position on Eliza. I already said it. Shane Cashman is once again, he's fully cucked out for Eliza. And people, this is why Eliza and Sydney are in the same camp. They're going to get these guys simping for him. Literally, Eliza called for an army of her simps to protect her. That's what's happening now. Shane Cashman is in the army of simps. Sydney's army is coming. It's coming. And it will be mobilized. And it may be mobilized by content creators you've seen. Even content creators I've worked with. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. Jeremy has a business interest. He has to legally simp. It's required now. Jennifer Jane says, Sydney regularly raved about Elijah and his wife. She spoke about spending weekends and nights, night after night, at their house, raiding their fridge, playing video games, and enjoying their company outside of the Blaze work environment. Exactly. If it was so hostile, why the fuck was she hanging out with them? Why didn't she bring it up with his wife? Why didn't she treat, why not treat it as a person-to-person thing? Why not talk? I bet you the wife would straighten that shit out. Because I guarantee you Elijah's wife has him by the balls. Guarantee you that. But that's a very good point. Thank you, Jennifer. A very based comment. This is very Amber Heard, very Eliza, and very Tomi Lahren of you. And that's what I appreciate. I appreciate all you base ladies out there. And for the base ladies out there watching right now, smash a like button. Appreciate y'all. We're exposing these people who pretend to be y'all. They cosplay as y'all. But when they wake up, they're not. They're anything but. By the way, Lord of the Re brings up on Rumble Rant, $2, says Crowder versus Daily Wire, Tim Pool versus The Quartering, Eliza versus everyone. What's up with all this retarded fucking drama? It all started with Yellow Flash and Lofty. Do not give Lofty Pixels that much credit, Lord of the Re. Lofty does not deserve that credit. And I make fun of Lofty. Look, I've had him on. He's easy to punch, right? But he did not start this. I think it's very coincidental. It may not be a coincidence at all. But that being said, sorry, guys. I'm going to call people out when they fuck up. That's what I'm going to do. And maybe people don't like me. Look, you guys know, let's be real. I'm not allowed in the LawTube treehouse anymore. They formed their own little group chat. They formed their own little club, their own little house they play in with their little sticks and their little dolls, right? I give less of a shit. I'm doing my own thing, right? I'm over here in Asia. I'm like, I don't really care what anybody says, right? I'm over that. That whole, I need their validation point is gone. I'm just covering shit as I see it and helping you guys see it your own way. Don't accept what these people have to say. When they say believe our way or you're out, be out. It's better to think for yourself than to think like the Borg, even if it's a based Borg. Don't do that. That's fucking dumb. Sean Mine says this was all about her salary, isn't it? Yes, we're getting into it right now. We're still going through the things, but it's about the salary. It's about the money, for sure. Exactly says, don't even know what to look for in a good woman. Seems like it's all too common. How do you define the respect you give people like Anna? Because they've given it. Because Anna actually treats me with respect. She treats me like a friend. She doesn't abuse me. She doesn't ask for anything. And by the way, I give her shit like a normal person. I don't simp for her. My first interaction with Anna was when we were paying at the bar. And I was like, yeah, I've got Cecil's drink. But she was like looking at me like, oh, like is she going to buy me the drink? And I'm like, not hers. She has to pay for her own. This girl gets drinks bought for her all the time. Make her pay for her own drink. And she respected me for that because I'm not just fucking simping. August Pinoche says, YouTube member, welcome, August. Welcome. Welcome, dear leader. Dear leader. Welcome. Misogyny, the name of my new punk band. Awesome. That would actually be a good name. Misogyny. Let's say Lofty's master plan. Lofty has no master plan. But guys, by the way, I want to go back to this one exactly. Let me just say, I sympathize with you guys. I sympathize, seriously. It's fucking hard out there on the streets. It's hard out there on the streets. I get you. I know. Senpai understands. I feel you. And that's why a lot of people are going MGTOW. That's why I end up talking with Drex about this. And they just don't understand. They think it's misogyny. They think it's bullshit. It's just nature. The genders are different. Accept it. And once we accept that, let's just get on with it. I love women being women. But just let them be fucking women. It's fine. Loki Slayer says, from one of your based females, Megan Hall, lawsuit in your local matches. I know, dude, I'll cover the police train lawsuit. Today we're running a train on the conservative thoughts. You know, Megan Hall, that we can go on the Blue Lives Matter train later, but we'll get there. Oh, last one here for Jennifer Jane before we continue. Most other women who are on the lookout for good conservative content were able to sniff out Sydney's insincerity from the get-go. Appreciate your unbiased takes. You've been more than fair. I try to be. And like I said, Elijah could still be a piece of shit. He could still be a drunk. He could still have issues, right? Those things could all be true. He could have even have grabbed Sarah Gonzalez's titties, right? That doesn't make what Sydney's doing here right. And it doesn't make her using these tools and pulling these socialist and feminist levers correct. And nobody's going to say this. I guarantee you, everyone's going, oh, Sydney, I'm going to hedge my bets because I like, she's kind of based. She had this one clip I liked. She went on Vice once. No, you have to call it out. And by the way, with your friends, you call them out more, right? So when someone is part of your movement, you should call them out more because they should be the ones to recognize that. The accountability is something we should not be afraid of. That's a leftist thing. They don't want accountability. They want the victim mindset. We need responsibility. And look, sometimes you guys call me out, right? There was a time, let me bring up an example. I deleted a video on my locals, right? Because I didn't say it in the way I wanted to say it. And I made a new video saying everything again, but I just restructured how I said it. And someone said to me, hey, Andrew, that's not cool. You post something on locals, you kind of leave it there. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I should stick by that. And I'm going to stick by that. Like, call me out. If I fuck up, I want to be called out. That's my friends doing that. I'm not like, fuck you, you're trying to call me out. I'm like, no, you got a good point. Or I'll ignore it if it's completely irrelevant. If it's just someone screaming and reeing and trying to get angry at me because their eggs are dead, I just ignore that. That's a Tuesday for me. That is a stale Tuesday of someone getting mad because they've hit the wall. LawTube excommunicated you? Fuck them. What happened? You guys know what happened. I don't need to get that backstory. You guys know exactly what happened with that. You guys know exactly what happened with that. If you don't know, go rewind in the saga, right? Or check out the anime arc, which is Adjudicator's Academy in the link. Check out the anime. Just saying. Maybe related. All right, let's continue here. But on the bright side, you own and rule the doghouse. Yes, I am king of the doghouse. I am king of being in the doghouse. I don't care. And I knew it when I did it that I would be in the doghouse, and I don't care. Oh, by the way, one last Rumble rant from Lord of the Ree. I complimented Sid in a super chat. Hopefully I don't get sued too. Will you represent me? Oh yeah. I'm joking. I don't represent U.S. clients because I obviously am in Asia. So, I only do remote work. All right. Notorious bigot, Nick Fuentes. Okay, let me put this here. I am not a Nick Fuentes stan. I have actually gone on the record talking about Nick Fuentes multiple times. I'm not, I think Nick Fuentes is fucking weird, right? His body language is weird. Who he is weird. I don't like Nick Fuentes, right? But once again, I don't think any speech should be banned. I think I can say, yeah, I don't like Fuentes, but I don't think he should be censored or banned. Alex Jones, I don't necessarily agree with everything Alex says, but I don't think he should be banned or censored. And I don't think anybody, just by coming on, even if they say wildly offensive things, should prove. So because you had Fuentes on, that proves that you're guilty of misogyny. They're using this as proof of misogyny. They're using just the presence of Fuentes, the presence of the Groypers, the presence of the Catboy Coon as proof. And this to me is not proof. A person's presence. This is a leftist argument saying because they platformed him, they platformed Nick Fuentes, therefore they are guilty of this. This is what they are saying in the lawsuit. By the inclusion of this is Sydney Watson's statement. This is her statement through her attorney. These are the words of Sydney Watson. That's what attorney means. You're speaking for somebody. This is her voice we are reading right now. This is no better than the left. It's just a fucking guest on your show that you're having a conversation with. You can argue with them. You can debate them. Say you disagree with them, but don't sue over it because you had the Catboy on. Come on. Fluffer Boy says, daily reminder that the state is a multinational corporation with a monopoly on the use of force. Friendly neighborhood anarchist. It's very true. Very true there, my friend. All right. He was grossly misogynistic. Okay, describe what specifically offended you. And yes, being misogynistic, people ask, is being misogynistic illegal? Yes, it is. That's work environment. That's why I think this entire cause of action should go. It needs to go. I don't like it, period. When anybody uses this, I don't like it. I like breach of contract. That's neutral. That's your gender neutral thing. You breached a contract. What's your breach of contract? Let's go there. That's the real feminism, is using something without relying on the crutch of your gender. Drex called it. He said that Sydney was a chameleon. Drex called it with a lot of these people, and we've said it. Guys, I'm having Pimpcast with him on Tuesday night. Valentine's Day special. We've been calling out these conservative thoughts for a while. They're not real. These influencers, these conservative influencers are all smoke and mirrors and sundresses. Here we go. Here it is, guys. Jack Murphy appeared on You Are Here. All right, guys, strap up. Strap in, strap up, and strap on. We're about to go into the Murphy arc. And mind you, by the end of this, you are going to see Sydney Watson wearing the beard. You're going to visualize it. She will be wearing the beard by the time we read through this. Let's pay attention to this. Miss Watson found Murphy grossly misogynistic. Okay, so Murphy, Cuck Murphy, the Murphy that is so masculine, he took it from a woman. So masculine, he brought out the hook. Murphy, by the way, members, Murphy emojis in the chat. Let's show them that Murphy emojis, what you're missing out on. All those beards. Appreciate you, Patrick. $69 for 69 is apparently the pinnacle of masculinity. So he shouted at her when she read a YouTube live stream super chat regarding his controversial past, which Miss Watson had no prior knowledge of when she innocently read the viewer's question. Do you guys, I think we need a reminder. I think we need to go back. Guys. Do you guys want the time capsule? Are you guys down for the time capsule to remember the moment that this went down? To remember that big cuck energy? All right, let's do that. Why don't we? Let's look at our boy Jack flipping out here. So let me play this.
Please clear.
Okay, here we go. This is somebody else's clip. I'm just playing a piece of it, but this is Cuck Murphy right now. So pay attention. This is the Cuck Murphy saga. If you guys are unfamiliar with it, strap in. It's right here.
Could you please clear up the cuck article you wrote?
I am not going to talk about this.
Okay.
And basically, you know what? Fuck you for bringing this up right here and right now. Why are you doing this to me?
I didn't know that. I didn't know what it was.
Well, just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
Sorry, apologies.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Elizabeth.
Heartfelt.
This is
So that was somebody else's clip, but yeah, she just asked the super chat, right? And like you guys said, this was supposed to be their grift. Their grift was supposed to be reading every super chat. That's what they do. That's what Tim Pool doesn't do, but that's what they do. They're supposed to read it all. And part of the whole defense to that, was that she didn't know and it was innocent. But yet by framing it this way, she is literally agreeing with Jack Murphy in saying that, oh, this was a grossly misogynistic thing I was forced to read. Because remember, she's suing the Blaze. She's trying to say, I should never have been reading this super chat. What was it Dr. McLongercock, or what was his name? What was the super chatter's name? Dr. Cock or something? She's trying to say she shouldn't have had to read it. And that it was so bad, so misogynistic for questioning his past, like we question Eliza Blue's past. Dr. McLongercock, it was Dr. Dickenballs. Dr. Dickenballs. Thank you. Got to remember my doctors. You get them confused sometimes. Thank you, Dr. Dickenballs. I got it from a couple of you. ROFLO 1804. Thank you on Rumble. Appreciate you. Yeah, and didn't they grifted on that, didn't they? Right? They grifted. Didn't they sell the heartfelt? And by the way, this is the nature, right? When it benefits them, they grift off of it, but they cry about it and file a fucking lawsuit over a super chat. This isn't made up. This isn't exaggerated. This is filed in Texas. This is your based Texas law. Sorry, the TradCon states are some of the ones that simp the hardest for this sort of shit. Pro AF Farrier. And by the way, I don't give her good chances in Texas. She gets one of these simpy ass judges on the stand, one of these trad judges who just falls for it. Oh, we got to protect our trad queen. They will fall for that shit in 2 seconds. They're not, that's a joke for them. They know this doesn't look good, and they got the military attorney, right? That represented Fox. Literally, her attorney represented Fox. I mean, talk about Murphys. I'm not even going to go there with Fox. Pro AF Farrier says, anyone, especially women, talking about what a tradcon is, they are sus. The biggest red flag is someone telling me what a conservative they are, probably a Fed. Yep. When you're trying to brag about how conservative you are, like your conservative cred to me, I'm like, just be the thing. Don't talk about it. Just be the thing. Shut the fuck up and do it. I don't want to hear your label. I'll label you as I see you do the thing. Like I said, I give people respect. I give Anna respect when she earned it. And by the way, that's as a friend. I'm not dating Anna, right? That's a whole separate issue. I'm just saying, as a person I know and I've worked with, you put them in those different boxes. They don't need to be this idol box, this goddess box. That's what they've programmed into everybody, and it's sick. They've got to worship their queens. You've got to pick an idol. You've got to pick a waifu, and you've got to stand for her. You've got to have that Asuka or Rey. It all goes back to that shit. And we got to get that out of our brains. I'll show you her attorney later. I'll pull him up. He's a military guy out of California. So balance those together. Military guy out of California. So anyways, we'll continue. After Murphy swore at Miss Watson and stormed out of the studio, Miss Schaffer went out for drinks and dinner with Murphy to smooth it over. Miss Watson and members of the audience were upset at Mr. Schaffer's reaction and his tolerance. Well, this doesn't make sense. Why would you go out with him if you were so scared, if this was so bad? Once again, you're allying with the beard. You're putting on the Murphy beard here and making it about Elijah. And here you go. Apparently, allegedly, Elijah told Sydney that he refused to control Murphy because Sydney was a woman, and that if he demanded his guest to stop the abuse, Sydney would have looked weaker. Okay, let's pretend this is true. Holy shit. Do you guys get this? Okay, people say I read it wrong. Let me read it again. Let me read this one more time. Mr. Schaffer told Miss Watson that he refused to control Mr. Murphy, Jack Murphy, because Miss Watson was a woman, and stated that if he, i.e., if Elijah, demanded that his guest, Jack, stop his abuse, Sydney would look weaker. Do you get what I'm saying here? They don't want equality. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Mr. Schaffer went out with Murphy. Okay, sorry. It wasn't Watt and Sydney. It was Mr. Schaffer. Never mind. We've moved on. I'm on the statement. I read 22 wrong. I'm sorry. But that, mi scusi. I make a mistake. It happens. I admit it. I'm not a big cuck. So, yes. Okay. It was Elijah that went out to dinner with Murphy, not Sydney. Okay? Got it. But moving on to 23, this is the point. This is what I'm saying. Pay attention here. Mr. Schaffer told Miss Watson that he refused to control him because that would make him look weak. So when you simp, when you give them that equality that they want, they reject it. She's suing him for this behavior. She's suing him. So you do these things, right? Because you're like, oh, she's a woman. Let me be trad. Let me protect her. Let me do these things. Let me bend the knee. And then she sues you for it. I'm definitely not Italian. Let me put it that way. I'm definitely not Italian. I do love the accent, though. She made a ton of money on Murphy merch, Jenna Tilla says. This part is lame as fuck. Yeah, it is. It is. Want a conservative girl, go to Asia, Middle East, shit, go to Africa, South America even. You want a really traditional girl who understands tradition. Don't look in the West. Look anywhere but the West. Africa, Asia, South America. You'll find them. I mean, it's very rare. They exist, but it's like unicorn hunting. There might be one or two out there, but it takes a lot of effort. But anyways, continue. So Miss Watson reluctantly defended Miss Schaffer over the blowback later. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You are here returned from its break. Mr. Schaffer unilaterally booked several guests with particularly contemptible and sexist opinions about women. So once again, that you are guilty of a hostile work environment if you bring in anybody who dares question the narrative, the feminist narrative. This is the core. If you bring in anybody who questions the narrative, you're guilty. You are on the line for hostile work environment. It became clear that Miss Watson, that each one of these episodes, she was to be the designated punching bag for the sexist guests and Mr. Schaffer himself. Miss Watson is a serious journalist. So she's so serious she can't debate and defend a position. Let's pretend she is. That's the oldest shtick in the book in news. Is she dumb? If she was a serious journalist, she would understand. She would understand that news networks bring on the token conservative, right? If you look at CNN or MSNBC, they bring on the token conservative as a punching bag. Fox will bring on the token super liberal. They'll do that. That's what they do. That's what they do in journalism. People like that. They like the straw man, right? People love the straw man argument. That's So she's a serious journalist. She understands this is what happens in journalism. She's so serious, they bring on the token and they just beat up on them. They just ridicule. And yeah, if you're a serious journalist, I agree with that. Research your guests, for sure. That's the same as Kurt was based. This is why it's so shocking to me. Listen to some of his interviews on Malice. He represented Shapiro against Clockboy. Guys, once again, people on issues can be right, but then they can have a critical weakness and be wrong. So somebody can be somebody who's been on your side for 90% of things, but then there's one issue where you're like, yo, bro, I don't agree with you on that. And that's what we have to acknowledge on the right. I think people who are, and not even on the right, I fucking hate being part of that. They're saying I'm part of that. But I'm saying people who aren't on the left, people who are coalescing as an opposition to the mainstream, the alternative voices, we need to acknowledge we're going to have different points of view and just say, that's cool. Let's argue those. Let's debate those. But that's cool. It's not misogyny to debate those views. When I call him on this issue a simp, on this issue in the wrong, on this issue, he's becoming a weapon of feminism. He can be right on other issues. These lawyers can have good cases. They can be based 99.9. They can represent 2A clients. They can represent service members and veterans getting justice. They can protect them from the jab, but they got that Achilles heel. And this is it. That conservative thought, punani, that's their weakness. I'm calling it. People are too afraid to call it. They're too afraid to say it. It's that weakness that you just got to admit. Just know what your kryptonite is. It's better to know what your kryptonite is than to get screwed. Jason says, I assume the lawyer said this is the best argument for the W, given that the lawyer is well known and shouldn't his conservative values be questioned too? Oh yeah, for filing this. I think a conservative should never file something disgusting like this and so misandrist, anti-man as this, using this cause of action alone. But the way it's framed, this is misandrist at best. And I know what they're going to say. I know exactly what the PragerU, the TradCon guys are going to say. The fucking, oh God, what's his name? The Matt Walshes of the world with their little beards. They're going to go, a true man never does this. Okay, example of masculinity, Matt Walsh. Go fuck yourself. A real man, fuck you. Fluffer Boy says, go Chiefs, 38-35, one hell of a game. Well, Fluffer Boy, I hope you sung the Black National Anthem, and I hope that you admitted your homosexuality just like the NFL did. I hope that you've accepted that, right? That you've accepted that there's a white nation that has one national anthem and a black nation which has another. I hope you've internalized that. But good on you, bro. I'll take your money. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you hanging out. And also, I appreciate you who are watching and you're hanging out with me at the same time. If I'm doing good for this against the Super Bowl, I'm doing pretty fucking good. I wouldn't be so unless I bust your balls here, guys. I got to bust your balls. The LB guys, trust me, the LGBTQ anthem getting played at NFL games is not far off. You guys are like, never, never. They're going to be playing the LGBTQ theme up there in no time. Just you fucking wait. Just you wait. They're going to be playing that at NFL games, NBA games. You're going to have 7 national anthems out there. You start with 1. You're going to end up with 20. You're going to end up with a rainbow. They're going to be 10 minutes. Forget that, 30 minutes of anthems playing. It's happening. You guys laugh now, but we were laughing about this tea stuff years ago. You know it's happening. Just accept it. That's where we're going. That's where we're headed here. And that's where your friends like Sydney are dragging us down this way. These false tradcons are going this way. Here we go. The idea behind You Are Here was never for it to become a forum for humiliation and abuse of a female co-host as the male host smirked. So a smirk is now a hostile work environment. Do you see why men and women can't work together? Do you see why when I say men and women in corporate can't work together? As contractors where you're at arm's length, that's fine. You can work together at arm's length. It's perfectly fine. But in a corporate structure in America, you are going to be sued for fucking smirking at someone. This is ridiculous. You think that corporate America is going to stand this? You think they're going to last? Come on. 2012 James, it says legal mindset, 1.35K. Super Bowl won. That's right. That's right. Won. I got you, Super Bowl. You know how much they pay for advertising on the Super Bowl? A lot. You know how much they pay me? Well, Field of Greens is paying me. If you guys want Field of Greens, great supplemental project. This is actual fruits and vegetables that are ground up and put in this product, this great supplement, which is a real supplement, a not junk science supplement, which actually works, which I have used myself. Use promo code MINDSET in the description. You have the link for Field of Greens. Get that great product, gets you jacked, gets you healthy, gets your 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in. It is not junk science. It is actual fruits and vegetables. Get that in. And guys, they're paying me much less than the Super Bowl. There's people out there with the Black National Anthem. There's people out there taking a knee. They're not grifting like me. So go over there, plug in promo mindset, and get your Field of Greens. How about that for grifting? Boom, bitch. That's how we do it. Take notes, Sydney. Take notes. 5AS says 1,300 plus solid during the bowl is pretty sick. 90K, then the plaque is coming soon. I hope so, guys. Smash that like button, make your subscribed, because they are censoring me hard. But I think we can make it. We're almost there. I believe we can get that 100K. All right, let's go. It should be noted that a significant part of Mr. Schaffer's audience calls itself traditional. But actual traditional values have nothing to do with the contempt and abuse of women. And let me add this part in here before I go off. This portion of Mr. Schaffer's audience, which he cultivates, uses the idea of tradition as a cover for extreme misogyny. Such viewers flood them with super chats and grossly sexist comments and anti-Jewish commentary that make her uncomfortable. Guys, this is what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a woman who is calling she's calling super chat comments that other people are submitting as coded dog whistles for misogynistic and anti-Semitic comments for Miss Watson. She's leaning. This is the language of the left. Guys, listen to me. These traditional women are anything but traditional. She doesn't define. Notice how she doesn't define what traditional is. She's like, this isn't traditional, but they don't define what traditional is. Okay, Sydney, if this isn't traditional, what is traditional? If this is what to her is traditional? What is? Is it Christianity? She's not a Christian. She's an atheist. Is it Judaism? Well, I guess not, right? Because she's an atheist. Is it 1960s? Well, I guess she wouldn't make it in the 1960s world because they didn't have these laws, these rules, 1950s, 1940s, 1930s, 20s, fucking Revolutionary War. She wouldn't. What is traditional? So she said she joined this. Remember, she said she joined this organization because she thought it stood for traditional conservative values. She said that. And then she decries in this lawsuit right here that it doesn't support actual traditional values, but she doesn't say what they are. This is a typical word of the left. This is what the left does. It doesn't define things. This is why Sydney Watson is a socialist, feminist, internalized leftist. It doesn't matter what comes out of her mouth, that you agree with one sound clip or that. She's internalized that socialism. She doesn't believe in any conservative or traditional values at all. And by the way, guys, I'm not saying you have to believe in God. I'm just saying define what tradition is. If it's not belief in God, I'm okay with that. Look, I don't want to be bound by a particular religion. I don't want to be part of a theocracy. That's not for me. Maybe some of you guys want theocracy. That's fine. You guys can have that. And I would love to live in a world where you guys can be over there living in a theocracy, and I can be over here just fucking off in my libertarian, whatever the fuck it is, my just and anarcho-capitalist perfect world, right? I can be over here doing my own thing with people just fucking off and leaving me alone, right? But the point is that they don't define what that is. They don't define traditional. If you said traditional conservative Christian, I might be able to define that. If you said traditional Muslim, I might be able to define that. If you said Orthodox Jewish, we can define that. We'll call Joe up. We'll call Joe Nierman up. We've talked about Orthodox Judaism before. But she doesn't offer value. These women are offering nothing. They are just critiquing and taking. And I agree. Get this shit back in Australia. And Augusta Buttigieg says, Sydney is the snake. She'll say one thing and hang you by another. Outrageous. This is what they do. This is the move. This is the Tomi Lahren. She's pulled it. Eliza Blue, Sydney Watson, Tomi Lahren. They're all on the same thing. They pretend to be a thing to get in, to grift, but only when it's useful. I'm not going to bullshit with this. I'm not going to cut corners with this. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of tiptoeing around this shit. I'm tired of people pretending, I'm afraid they're going to call me misogyny and all this shit. I'm done. I'm calling it like it is here. And other people can pull punches on this one. That's fine. They may have these personal friendships to think about, whatever. This is bullshit. You got to call someone out for their bullshit. Socialism, more like sussism. Am I right? It's very true. It's very true. I don't need to listen. People are like, "Oh, you don't know enough about her background." I don't need to know. She filed this. That's in her action. She filed this. That's all I need to know. Lord of the Ree, for $2 on a Rumble rant says, "Bust my balls harder, daddy. Legal daddy. Ooh." Oh, I'll ooh for you. You know it. You know it. Tabby on Locals Read says, the irony is Sid invited Jack Murphy on. She also has several female guests that would gang up on Elijah. Yeah, she did it, but they can't roll with the punches, right? They can't roll with the punches. Oh, no. You guys did a thing. Oh, no. Sorry, I got to show you guys something. My Locals is degenerate. They do stuff like this, stuff like this to me, giving me the Matt Walsh beard. I gotta sue my Locals for hostile work environment. Guys, hold on. I'm gonna be suing my Locals for hostile work environment for creating these dank memes. I'm feeling very targeted right now in my lack of a beard. I need to sue right now because my feelings are hurt. Ozzy says, stuff that. We don't want that smut. Hey, listen. And this is what we got, baby. This is what we got. Look, and listen, people are like, Matt Walsh is based. Matt Walsh can be right about some things and wrong about another, guys. Guess what? He's wrong about women and men and our relationships. He's right about other stuff. I don't listen to him on that. But other stuff he could be right on. Brandon the Anime Guy says, doesn't matter what comes out of her mouth. Oh, Brandon, you did it there. You did it, you etchy motherfucker. You hentai bastard. You've been watching a little too much of Redo a Healer, haven't you, Brandon? By the way, guys, go follow Brandon the Anime Guy if you like anime content. Really base channel. Great guy, great human being. Always supported me and been there through tough shit. When other people were canceling me, Brandon was out there supporting me, sending me support, sending me messages, and I really appreciate that. When these freaking struggle tubers were out there coming at me, this guy had my back, and I appreciate that. I don't forget those actions. Bob that God made mad says, to clarify, Sydney never explicitly referred to herself as a con. That aside, I find the language of this lawsuit to be deeply disappointing. Was expecting a BOC filing when I first heard about this. Yeah, I expected breach of contract. And Bob, if this was breach of contract, I would not be coming at it so hard. But because she's going with literally Gender discrimination. That's the card she tried to play. You know, she's playing Yu-Gi-Oh. That's her trap card, right? Was gender discrimination. And in the lawsuit, you saw the language. She calls herself a traditional conservative. She said she came here because it was traditional and because she is a self-described conservative. She did it repeatedly. And once again, you could say, oh, well, her attorney had her put it back. No. You're responsible for that. You sign off on that. Don't try to use your attorney to blunt it. This is what you said. This is your voice in the lawsuit. This is the same as if Sydney said it. So let's continue here. We got to get through this. We're about halfway. Ms. Schaffer encouraged this humiliation of Watson. Even though she was aware of mom, she hated it and protested it. She complained to management. Karen went to HR. She went to HR. She complained to the manager. And look at this. This is all the proof they have on religion. Their entire religious argument is here. Tell me if this holds up. Tell me if this holds up. Mr. Schaffer would consistently make disrespectful comments about the fact that Miss Watson is an atheist. This also encouraged the audience to attack her, something she still put up with today, but that did not happen before Mr. Schaffer made it an issue. So literally you're saying that there was some sort of vague general disrespect, some sort of really nebulous, unspecific disrespect. How do you disrespect an atheist? When did atheists become thin-skinned? When did atheists become soft? Weren't atheists supposed to be the hard ones that are like, yeah, there's no God, we're all going to die and eat the dirt, right? So cheers, let's live up and enjoy our life. What happened to those sort of atheists, right? I didn't always agree with them, right? But, Hitchens, like the Hitchens sort of vibe. I don't get that Hitchens gave a fuck. And once again, like I said, you can agree and disagree with people. You can agree and disagree with that. That's fine. But yeah, you can watch what you want to watch. That's your own choice. Viral Short says, question, did Sydney sign an NDA? Probably. We don't have that. We'll get that in discovery, but there could be an NDA here. It's possible. It's possible. So we will see. We don't know. We don't know what's out there for sure. We haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. When I see it, I'll believe it. Once again, see the evidence, due process. Elijah is guilty until proven innocent. That's how our system works. Sorry, Sydney. You don't get conservative Me Too credit. Kirna says there were rumors about Elijah cheating on his wife, and were those ever verified? I tried to look that up, and I keep seeing old videos about it. Listen, Elijah could have been fucking whores for all I care. Okay? That's between him and his wife. That doesn't have anything to do with this lawsuit. She has to prove this on his merits, that there was a hostile work environment created by misogyny. And we have to separate these things from the personalities. We cannot like Elijah. Maybe Elijah was cheating on his wife. Maybe he's a piece of shit. Maybe whatever, right? And to that extent, right, morally, we can say someone is morally bad. But are they guilty in a court of law? Look at the Murdaugh trial, guys. Look at the Murdaugh trial. How many people find Murdaugh guilty because they think he's a piece of shit, or they think he's guilty of the financial crimes? And now they're thinking he's guilty of murder. We got to stop that. We got to be better than that. We can't be the ones doing that. Particularly if we're going to hold up some sort of moral authority. When do atheists get soft? Allow me to him, Sam Harris. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're probably right. If there's a point at which that happens, Sam Harris is probably one of it. I agree. It's sad, man. It's sad. Fubar Snafu says, to be fair, she never said she was conservative, which always made her snake in the grass. I see people simping for her lawsuit after they said O'Keefe claims he was rude and sexist to be false. Here's the thing, Fubar, in this lawsuit, so I don't give a shit what she said before. And maybe she didn't say it before, but she's saying it now. In this lawsuit, she's saying it. This is her action. She's playing this role. And this shows you the chameleon nature that they will change their shade if it benefits them for money. If it benefits them for money, they're going to change their shade. They're going to change their principles. They're not going to stand up and say, no, I'm not changing colors. I'm doing what I'm going to do. I'm not afraid of you calling me a misogynist. They're not going to stand up and do that. These are cowards. They have no backbone. They have no principles. Their principles are subjective. It's all chameleon. It's 100% chameleon. Yeah. She made her money by conservatives, for conservatives. That was how she made that money. Period. End of story. Make sure I'm caught up here on everywhere. Yep. I'm actually, I guess I'm actually in Bangkok right now, not Korea. People say, oh, he's in Korea. All right. But I'll be back in Korea end of this week. All right, let's continue this. All right, Mr. Schaffer would endlessly reference sex, often gay sex and penises, and other sexual matter, often graphic in front of guests and Miss Watson. Guys, if referencing sex, gay sex, and penises is a hostile work environment, then I got news for you. Me, Rakeda, a lot of the content you love, guys, we're all 100% a hostile work environment because we reference this shit all the time. It's fucking jokes. It's jokes. This is why you can't have fun anymore. People like Sydney do not want you to make fun. You cannot have fun around Sydney Watson. Yeah, clearly Sydney never had a brother, and clearly she doesn't respect men. She doesn't know real men. She's only known these little cuck boys or these trad simps her entire life. She's never known men and how men speak. Talking about sex is what we just do. It's not a big deal. If you just make it not a big deal. And I think, the funny thing is, it comes out of a puritanical nature. It comes out of a nature where we need to shame people about that. If you really were going to not shame people, right, go the leftist way, then it's just talking about sex. If you don't want slut shaming, then okay, then talking about sex is normal. It's not sexual harassment. It's the thing that it happens. It's the way it is. It's nature. And making a joke is not illegal. It should not be illegal. It may be made illegal in Texas. Guys, this is why I say even your TradCon states are not safe. You think you're sitting in Texas, or even Florida, my home state. I'm going to come out there and say it. You think you're safe? This shit is coming. This is why we need to push back against this. This is why we need to make noise on this one and say, yo, this is not okay. This is not what we're going to accept from people out there holding themselves up in this way. And we're going to call them out. They need to see this. They need to see this. We need to make some noise on this. If they think this is acceptable, they're going to keep letting these snakes in. There's no reason why not to. The Fluffer Boy said, I'm a snake. Sydney probably. It's her goal to just get Blaze to settle out of court. She can't believe there's merit to this bullshit. Well, okay. From a pragmatic standpoint, the goal is always to settle out of court for all parties. But you have to make a good faith argument. When you file this, you're saying it's a good faith argument. You can't settle on bullshit. So they're trying to say that they do have merit to this case. Fubar, by filing this case, her attorney is certifying that there's merit to these claims. That's why it's so important that a lawyer go through this and break this down, not just some fucking talking head. We can tell you that what this means when you translate this in a legalese, that's saying we have evidence to back this up, that this is not a meritless claim. If it's a meritless claim, it gets motion to dismissed. It gets removed. By the way, guys, 1,300 of you, I'm with 1,400 on YouTube. Over here on Rumble, we got a lot too. So make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you guys are liking this. Really helps me out in the algorithm. Helps based content get out. Otherwise, you're just gonna get that trad cunk point of view. Here we go. Here we go right now. Here it is, guys. Oh, sorry. I'll go here. So she claimed that Mr. Schaffer refused to listen to women. Something Mr. Schaffer proudly admits. Who cares? Right? Hey, guess what? Ready for some misogyny? There's a lot of things I don't listen to women on. Directions, right? Working out. Trucking. There's plenty of things I would never take advice from a woman on because they just generally don't have that knowledge. If it's something they know about, then I'll ask them. But it's a one-on-one thing. What does that woman know about? And honestly, to be honest, guys, between me, you, and 1,400 of you, there's not that much they know that I need to know. I kind of already get it. I kind of get it. I mean, obviously, women will know how to work out for other women, and they all know how to build a woman's body because what men find attractive in women is different than what women try to find attractive in men. Building a man's body is something I would ask a man about, not a woman. They don't know how to do that shit. They've never done it. They can read it in a textbook. They've never fucking done it. And voting. That's. I mean, what about the 19th? You need to listen to women about making your booty big. Yes. When I need to get my bussy bussin', I will talk to women. When I want to make that booty pop, when I'm trying to do my Sam Smith, looking like a piece of pork, I will call up a lady. All right, let's continue. Yeah, people are like, trucking, that's so random. I know a lot of truckers. And by the way, truckers are based as fuck. Let me just say that right now. Truckers are based as fuck. They get it. All right. It did not help that Mr. Schaffer would get drunk on set and get guests drunk as well. They would do shots of hard liquor before many shows. It was impossible to work professionally in an environment where her co-host was drunk and impaired. Guys, they are creating a cause of action against all of the lawyers on YouTube. They're literally doing, I mean, me, Joe, Sean, Legal Vices, shit, fucking even, I've seen Andrea do shots. You know, everybody, even the women drink. The women lawyers are drinking, right? So what world does this lend us into if drinking is cause for a fucking lawsuit? Yeah. Guys, do you remember when you used to have an office bar? Do you guys remember the office bars? Has anybody ever worked at an office where they still had a bar in the office? Not at a bar, like an office, maybe like a law firm that had a bar or like an accounting firm that had a bar, something like that. Do you know why we can't have nice things? You know why we can't have that anymore? It's because of this shit. This is why we don't have bars at work. This is why the office bar died, because of Sydney Watson and her ilk. You can't have fun things anymore. We can't just have fun and just relax. We can't do it because of Sydney. And not be like, it's not her specifically. No, it's because of her ilk. The whole line. This is something that's in their heads, all of them. All of them. The truth is, she was bitter that Elijah was not white knighting her after the Jack Murphy. Yeah, exactly. Simp for me harder. Why don't you simp for me, daddy? You got to simp for me. And if you don't, I'm coming for your beta bucks. Aussie Overlord said, drinking. Oh, crap. Can we set up a multi-channel network yet? I feel I need to cover my ass. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to Hayden, Aussie Overlord, based Aussie out there. One of the few. He's one of the fucking few. The few ruse. He's one of the few dingoes that hasn't gone full koala. You know what I'm saying? He's not that bitch made drop bear. 2012 says, Andrew got hit in the something. Hostile work now. Yes. It's a hostile work environment here at the Legal Mindset. This is 100% hostile. Hunch said, the greatest chef in the world are men. The most famous fashion designers are men. Miss Universe this year was a man. Isn't that hilarious, by the way? Men are going to be winning these things. So really, what can men give advice? What can women give advice so that men can't give better advice? That's true. You now have a Miss Universe who is better qualified to be a woman as a man. What does that say about women? Right? Once again, it's a crazy world, but you're still having these lawsuits. The cognitive dissonance is it's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. By the way, pageant girls used to be great. I actually I've met pageant girls, and a lot of them were fantastic. I like them because they're usually tall. But now I gotta worry about the same thing I have to worry about here in Thailand. Although actually, I will say one thing about Thailand real quick. It's clear who the lady boys are. They don't hide it. They don't try to trap you. They're like, you're either into it or not, which I appreciate. It's like an open level of degeneracy, but it's an honest degeneracy. It's like, no, I'm a lady boy. Like I'm a lady boy. I'm not trying to. In the U.S., you're like trying to lie and trying to hide it and all sorts of shit. They're not trapping. They're just like, yeah, I'm a lady boy, whatever. Like you look over there, like that's a lady boy. Okay, keep walking. Not interested. Fluffer Boy says, are we 100% sure Sydney isn't actually Monograph? Has anyone seen her in the same place and was asking questions? Oh, no. Don't go to the lol suit. Don't go to the lol suit. Let's continue here. So we've had hostile work environment because of drinking. It took on her. So look at this. She was so disturbed and stressed, she experienced vertigo. Guys, I experienced vertigo from dealing with some of this bullshit on the internet. From dealing with some of this fucking drama, I get my head starts to spin because this drama is so weird and so odd and so tistic that my head starts to spin. Do I get to sue? Who do I get to sue because I got the spins? Are you fucking kidding me? Her head hurts? Get the hell out of here. And by the way, people are like, oh, that's not sensitive. Vertigo can be real. Yeah, I've gotten vertigo before. I don't sue people over it. I've never sued somebody in my life over that. What the fuck are you talking about? Magician Sapphire says, I knew Elijah, and I know, by the way, I know it's really ironic that a tall person gets vertigo, right? Like I'm 6'6" or the 6'5.5", whatever the fuck. I get vertigo, which is hilarious, right? Like it's like the Empire State Building getting the spins. But I don't bitch about it. I just deal with it. Magician Sapphire says, I knew Elijah and Sydney had problems with each other when Elijah appeared on one of Rackets' late night streams and said Sydney wasn't his friend. Oof. I think that's the one right about when Sydney was about to leave. And at that point, they knew it was bad. They knew it was bad. So here we go. Here's the moment. Here's one of the critical moments. So on March 4th, 2022, so last year, You Are Here had a group plan to address these matters. It was a 2-hour meeting with Miss Watson, Schaffer, Blaze employees, including Ricky Ratliff, Blaze President Mooney. She expressed how much the constant sexism and hostile, unprofessional behavior humiliated her, making it impossible to do her job. She regarded the constant offensive comments about women and said it was encouraging the audience. And Miss Watson, they attacked her so intensely that other guests noted it and were put off. Miss Watson, Mr. Schaffer asked Miss Watson point blank if the hostile sexism bothered her. She said yes. He asked if it made her want to quit. She said yes. So this is a big one. She probably did say these things, but I want to see the full context, right? I want to hear the full context of that meeting. And let me tell you what, she was probably sent in there to say that by her attorney. At this point, she was probably already thinking of suing. They agreed this conduct was inappropriate, promising they'd address it, but they failed to do it. After a tantrum into which Mr. Schaffer refused to participate in meetings until his demands were met, Mr. Schaffer told Miss Watson he would not be helping select guests any longer because Miss Watson shot down his suggestions. She would label them as misogynists and say no. Miss Watson had merely asked him to stop unilaterally booking misogynist and abusive people, according to who? So Sydney is the determiner of who is misogynistic and abusive? Sydney is the determining factor? Are you kidding me? So Sydney, this is what they do. They try to become the determiner. This is why you see women, they'll always do it, especially the conservative women. They'll go, you're not a man. You're not a real man. They're making themselves as women the determiners of what a man is. Fuck you. Like other men determine who men are, and it's men you respect. I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit about random dudes or random women saying whether you are or are not a man, calling me you can call somebody a beta, alpha, whatever the fuck. I don't care. If I respect you, if you're my friend, then yeah, I do care about your opinion, right? And you should care about my opinion. We have built a mutual respect based on exchange of real value, not disappointing bullshit. But Sydney Watson, she's not at that table. She's not earning the respect. She's demanding it. She's demanding respect because she is a woman. That is what this lawsuit is saying. I demand respect because I'm a woman. Bob Oxite says, I like your take. I'm disappointed in the filing. I stopped watching You Are Here because between guests that didn't care about and Elijah trying to make it annoying, everyone hardcore uncomfortable are coming off rude. And look, Elijah can be a rude little prick who I thought was playing for the other team. That doesn't mean that Sydney is right to do this and do this in this way. She didn't have to go about it in this way. Elijah could be a piece of shit. Okay. Breach a contract, sue Elijah, file a criminal complaint. If Elijah whipped his dick out and was doing some shit to you, sue him. File a police report. You know why you don't do that? Because it's defamation if it's not true. Because you can get in trouble for filing a false police report. Just Nova said, we're expecting a nuclear explosion. We got hit with a BB pellet. Yeah, people were expecting it to be like Elijah was dicks out for Harambe here. We're after 2 hours. I can say that now. I was reading this and I did not know the facts. I was expecting it to be like Elijah grabbed me by the pee danny, like Elijah went for the kitty. Elijah tried to hit it. That's what I was expecting here. I'm not getting any of that. There's none of that in here. R.I.P. Harambe, by the way. Hunch the Dirty Roofer said, anyone else find it interesting? There were 11 months out from the start of campaign season, really 6 months, and mainstream conservative media is imploding. Nope, not at all, because they're exposing what they really are. What they really are, Hunch, is establishment media. They're all becoming establishment media, all of them. Big conservative, big con is becoming, it's establishment media. It's just a slightly different flavor. They're putting a cool spin on it. They've got Ben Shapiro and he's young. He's cool. They don't care about the actual principles. They don't even define their principles. Pro AF Farrier says, nothing says I'm a traditional conservative woman like treat me special or I'll sue you if you think I hurt my feelings. Or I'll sue you if I think you hurt my feelings. Yes, it's that level. If I think, if I feel, if you hurt my fifis, I'm going to sue you. That's conservatism now. Guys, that's base now. Base ladies sue. Blue Fire for $2 Rumble Rant says, Sydney is showing her true colors at last. A chameleon can never change its true form. Truer words were never spoken. And a lot of these, TradCon chameleons are exposing themselves. And they're going to continue to expose themselves. It's going to continue to happen. Oh, no. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. R.I.P. R.I.P. Shout out Harambe. All right, let's continue here. At this point, Mr. Schaffer refused to participate in daily planning. Yes, if they're not going to do anything, honestly, for Schaffer, yeah, H is in the chat for Harambe, or gorilla emojis for Harambe. Jack Sessions, 100%, brother. I'm with you here. You cannot demand respect. Respect is given to those who deserve it, who earn it. You said desire, but I think it's more than that. I think you got to earn it, Jack. I think you got to earn it. You got to earn it. You got to put in work for real respect. People demand respect my authority. They don't get it. They're coming off like Cartmans. She is nothing but a female Cartman right now saying, respect my pussy authority. Yes, in the chat, shout out to all my gorillas, all my kangaroos out there in the chat. Y'all are animals. Y'all are savages. And while you're savage, while you're just out there just fucking living your best silverback life, silverback that like button. Make sure the notifications are on. Make sure you are subscribed, please. We're almost at 90K. Let's continue. So Miss Watson was subject to public disparagement because this was an internet-based show. Social media was a component of his participation, and social media was used to harass her. I thought that Sydney was a YouTuber. I thought she did YouTube. Does she not know that people are going to say mean things on the internet and social media? I got news for you, and this is especially for the ladies. This is for all the female content creators out there. PSA for female content creators. If you are coming on the internet, some people are going to say mean things about you, okay? They're saying mean things about everybody. Say mean things about me, right? I either ignore it or I laugh at it. It's fucking funny. It's hilarious. I'm going to make sure this thing is focusing properly. There you go. You're gonna get shit on the internet. Deal with it. If you can't take shit, you're not made for the internet, bro. Stay off the internet. If you're gonna get your fifis hurt over some fucking comments and some super chats, grow a pair. It's just not gonna happen. Somebody's gonna throw a Murphy beard on you. It's gonna happen. Just Nova says they prove integrity has a price. Absolutely, 100%. This proves you need to choose the people around you closely, very closely, and vet them. Fucking vet them. Lord of the Reed for $5 on Rumble says, just imagine realizing all media outlets are owned by the same 3 companies and Project Mockingbird is still a thing. What kind of bird is it? The Twitter logo. Yep. It's an interesting one. And I actually have to look up Project Mockingbird. I actually haven't heard about that. So I'll look that up. I will look that up. But look, these are not all coincidences. I'll tell you that. All right. Here we go. Mr. Schaffer tweeted in response that he hopes Miss Watson saw what Dr. Gorka tweets and sleeps with him. What? What? This disgraceful comment in the comment of a well-known member of the community's, the conservative community, when he was happily married to an accomplished woman, was devastating. Oh, come on. Why are we pretending like joking about sex is a weird thing? People say you guys should just fuck all the time. You can't take it personally. You know, you can't take it personally. And you can be somebody who's married. Somebody can make a joke about that. People who are married get jokes about that. And look, that's between them and their wives or girlfriends or whatever to play off, right? To talk about. If you're in a relationship and you're on social media, you have to have those conversations. Like, look, babe, you know, sometimes, you know, if you're dating somebody, and I've been, you know, on YouTube in relationships, you have to have those conversations. You have to say, hey, look, people are going to make comments, and here's how I'm going to respond. And you can either deal with that or not deal with that, right? That's just the way it is. People are going to talk about sex on the internet. You gotta have that conversation. So saying that this made her unable to do her duties because it was a hostile work environment. That was too far. That was too far. There was no solution. She brought it up. This is once again laying out the lines here. She brought it up. She said it was hostile. She said it was a hostile work environment. She was prepared to fix it, but management didn't want to fix it. These are all the elements she's lining up here. Left with no other options because you're required to exhaust your options legally. You're required to do that. So Miss Ward was forced to stop. We're not required, but you're required to try, right? To try. Miss Watson was forced to stop participating in the show until the situation resolved. The CEO called her and told her, Miss Schaffer, that she had left. The show was over. Miss Watson was extremely upset. She informed management that Miss Schaffer was publicly disparaging her and continuing to do things that hurt her reputation. Schaffer was still at the Blaze. So she was complaining to management. She was going to management and asking them to do something. Once again, she asked the manager. Karen is going to the manager. Karen wears red and Karen wears blue. It does not matter. The Blaze finally made a community post that the channel with the show is on hiatus. They didn't say a single thing. They finally posted on Twitter. They said it was over. I know he went on rackets. And here's where Nick Rekieta comes in. This is where we get the Nick Rekieta deposition, guys. Here we go. Nick Rekieta on stand. Mr. Schaffer posted this on Telegram that he was not a liar. He admitted on a live stream with a very prominent YouTuber. That's questionable. Nick Rekieta, prominent. Come on, that little piddly ass channel. That little piddly ass bitch of a channel. Does he still even have subs? He's over there with Drex's feet in his ass. Where is he? Is the nose even a thing anymore? Is he still even on the internet? Fuck is that guy? People saying Mockingbird fold is a repeal of Smith Monday. Okay, I'll look into it. I will look into it. SJ City says, so now is the quartering going to be in the same boat as Tim not wanting to talk about the lawsuit? He can't. If the quartering talks about it, he's fucked. And when he posted on his Twitter saying he's not going to talk about it, it's because he has a show with her. She'll me too him in a second. If Jeremy thinks he's protected from this, he's not at all. Because he's married, so was Elijah. Jeremy is in the... I would not want to be Jeremy right now. I would be shitting myself. Because, and you hire her knowing this? I'm sorry. Either you're white, and if he's fallen for it, that's even worse. He's setting himself up to get screwed, to get absolutely back-ended on this. Just Nova says, my colleagues curse at me, now I can sue. Yes, exactly. That's a basis. They get drunk, they drink, and they say mean words. Joseph says, I am shocked. I literally feel betrayed. By Sydney? Or by the rackets? Jeremy can't send her the pink slip, by the way. Now he's kind of fucked. So here's where Nick comes in. So there's more disparagement by Miss Schaffer while he's on the blaze. On the Nick Rekieta live stream, guys, a Rekieta live stream will be entered into evidence. Imagine a Rekieta live stream where they're watching and they're doing unbreaded. Can you guys check? Did that one? They all have an unbreaded. This must have had an unbreaded, right? So imagine the jury gets to watch unbreaded because they got to bring it all in for context, right? Can you imagine that? Like the jury gets to watch the entire Rekieta live stream. That would be fun. That would be nuts. It's like we're gonna need to see the whole thing for context. Can you show me the Baldo? Show me on the Baldo. Yeah, Nick may be in a lot of lawsuits this year. Nick may be like really, really working the lawsuits this year. Between the LOL suit and this suit, Nick Rekieta may be in court this year. I may be just covering, forget trial streaming. I may be Rekieta deposition streaming. That may be the next best grift, is the Rekieta deposition stream. I'm going to object when we don't get the right angle on his nose. People understood. So Miss Schaffer made comments about how he helped a female friend make money who then stabbed him in the back. People understood it as Miss Watson. So because they interpret it that way, and that's probably who he met, right? And sent the clips over. So saying this damaged the reputation. So all of you had a damaged reputation because of rackets. Blame rackets for damaging your reputation. Jack Sessions says, long live the Pope. I am the bishop for a reason. I love rackets. He's my homeboy. I learned so much from him, and I'm very grateful to him. I owe him a debt that I recognize. Brandon, the anime guy, says, this is why I will work from home till our storage business can cover my salary. I will never go back to the office precisely because of this shit. And guys, I'm telling you, get out of corporate. I'm saying it. This is why you can't be in corporate. This is going to happen. Even if your chicks are based, this shit's going to happen. It's just going to happen. Look at Good Logic. He said, I met Schaffer on Nick's channel about May 22. Oh, there you go. There you go. Shout out to Joe. People say, give Joe a hammer. No, I won't. I won't. Joe bans all. What Joe ends up doing is, Joe bans all non-Jewish people from the chat. So I have to be very careful with Joe. He's very biased. No, I'm not going to allow your state of Israel in here, Joe. You take that elsewhere. You save that for our stream. You can enforce that your other day. You control enough media, Joe. You don't need to control any more media than you control already, buddy. You're not getting this hammer. I love you though, buddy. See you on Thursday. Big love from Bangkok. All right, let's continue here. On another stream, Mr. Schaffer contended he had nothing to do with the accident, whereby a guest thought Miss Watson was trying to blindside him. This insinuation was that Miss Watson was the one who arranged the conflict. Once again, this is the feminine, he said, she said. You know, the girl who runs up and says, he started it. Oh, he started it. He said this. It hurt my fifis. Mr. Schaffer told people that Miss Watson made passes at him and tried to hit on him in more than one occasion. This is false. Guys, come on. Okay, let's be real. Let's be base for 2 seconds. When men and women work together, we often are flirtatious, right? And in most scenarios, honestly, it usually isn't a problem. But the problem is when that girl turns on you, when she isn't getting what she wants, everything you said that was playfully flirtatious, that's now sexual harassment. And once again, let's see the Carfax. What were the passes? What did he say? Hey, Sydney, nice shirt. Is it like the fat guy versus the guy in the suit meme? You know, when you want it, it's a compliment. When you don't want it, hello, HR. Let me call management. This stupidity has bearing in the court because feminism and socialism has enabled women like Sydney Watson to bring claims like this. They've entrenched it in their heads. These boss bays, these boss conservative bays, right? They terminated her in spring of 2022. They terminated Schaffer apparently in September, although I'm sure they don't have the discovery on this. They believe that it was because he allegedly harassed other employees. And by the way, two things can be true. Eliza Schaffer can be a person who actually harassed people. That could be true. But this lawsuit can also be bullshit. The misconduct has been devastating to her future and it derailed a very promising career because she was going to be so tradcon. But for this discrimination of her sex and her religion, literally, it is an oxymoron to call atheism a religion. It is by definition the lack thereof. It is the lack thereof. She is not a true atheist if she is suing on the basis of religion. I'm sorry. Not this lawsuit. Not this one. You're not getting me on this one. So they said they have to make this claim that they exhausted administrative remedies. Once again, that's a requirement that they exhaust their remedies under Title VII. Once again, she's using the wokest of methodologies. Sex and religious discrimination, count 1. Knowing and intentional with malice and reckless indifference. And they're asking for every damage in the book for compensatory, exemplatory. This is punitive. They want fucking punitive damages for this and attorney's fees. By the way, let us not forget the grift. Let us not forget the grift and why this is a grift suit. It's for the fucking attorneys. And I say that because screw attorneys, right? This is why I hate being a lawyer, because of people and pieces of shit like this that can sign this. Violating the Texas Commission on Human Rights Act, Texas law, TCHRA, which is why, by the way, like I said, I don't think he stands a good chance. I think they're going to settle. I think Blaze is going to settle. Wrongful termination and retaliation. So it's a retaliatory firing under Texas law. Of course, they're asking for attorney's fees. All attorney's fees. And they're asking for punitive damages because they're saying it was with malice. Asking for a jury. And then here's a prayer for relief to cost the attorney's fees submitted by these attorneys. And let's look up Kurt Schlichter, because some people look at him and be like, oh, look, he's based. Look at all this base stuff he's done. Look at his background. We just give him credit here. First of all, he is in California, so let's put up that. But here's Kurt. He's a retired Army colonel. He's worked for Fortune 500 companies. He's represented Fox News. Oh my God, Fox, right? Based. He's got a defense verdict against a contractor. He recovered a property loss for a diamond ring. Holy shit, look at that. Extensive military career. Oh, look, he's a stand-up comic. Well, it's fucking funny because this is some irony. This is a fucking irony. I hope he appreciates the irony. Graduated from UC San Diego. So he's a San Diego boy. I think a lot of those folks don't realize in California how it's seeped into this. By the way, Wolfer, you think I missed your super chat? I'll scroll up and see if I can find it. Sorry about that. If I missed it, call it out to me, but I don't intentionally. It might be because it's going fast. So let me look in the back end if you say I missed a super chat. I always try to get everything. I'm really good about that. Let's see. Oh, I got this. Sorry, Wolfer, that was earlier. I think the super chats are flying. So Wolfler for $4.99 said, how do we know who has the moral high ground in this legal matter, Andrew? I don't know who the good guys are and are the bad guys are. Thank you. That's a very good comment. Actually, that is a fantastic comment right here. See, I got it in the back end. I always got you guys in the back end right here. So here's Wolfler right here. So appreciate you, brother, on the back end. So how do we know who the good guys are and the bad guys are? Here's who the good guys are. The good guy is the person who's critiquing the process. We need to change this process. It's not about the people. Separate the people out. It's about the process. It's about the types of lawsuits we allow in our courts. That's number one. And it's about the people we are representing as conservative icons. We need to vet these people. We are ending up with Tim Pools and Sidney Watsons and Jack Murphys. This is who we are getting. Vet your people. And look, people are flawed. People are going to have flaws. That's fine. Nobody is perfect. But when you're looking at people for advice or what they are, or, hey, this person is marketing themselves as a tradcon woman. That is her marketing. Is she that? This guy is marketing himself as a man. That's a service he is selling. Is he selling that? Now, I don't care if he goes off and he loves anime and he's a weeb, and like that's his side thing. If he's selling fitness, is he fit? I don't give a shit about the other stuff that's not related to what he's talking about. If he's giving, for example, lawyers giving legal advice is great. We're not necessarily great for dating advice. I do that shit because it's fun and because people try to censor me, which honestly is the even more hilarious thing. The more people try to censor me, the more the dead egg squad of America tries to get angry at me and the more I'm going to talk about that shit. I'm the type of person, you tell me not to do it, I'm going to do it some more. Just because fuck you for telling me what to do. This is real freedom of speech, baby. Real freedom of speech. God damn it, the weebs at it again. Always the weebs. So what do you guys think about this? Let me what do you guys think? Is this a good, do you agree with Sydney? Who here is simping for Sydney? In the chat. Anybody here down with this? And by the way, I will post this lawsuit in my locals. So locals, you are going to get this lawsuit. I'm going to post it there for you guys to look at, to share. I like that from Mac Turner. Says, You Are Here was one of the most popular shows. Why couldn't she be happy? She's a woman. She can't. These people are not happy. They're fundamentally unhappy. Fundamentally unhappy. Fundamentally unhappy women. It's just re all the way home. Okay, I'm going to invite, and actually let me invite two people. I know Hayden is in the chat right now, and I also know Joe is in the chat. So I'm going to invite Joe as well. If Joe wants to come on, and verbally spread his message of the gospel, of the protocols of the elders, I'll let him. I love Joe. So I sent out invites. So Christina Christina, Hayden, Joe, if you guys want to come on and you guys want to simp, if you guys want to simp for Sydney, Joe, you love defending the ladies, Joe. You love those trad cons. So if you want to come on and go all Matt Walsh, you can do it right now, brother. You can do it right now. I will let you speak. I will let you defend your queens, your trad queens. Don't forget Patrick Bett and Adam Sosnick. Well, they're right now. Patrick Bett and Adam Sosnick are going through some weird shit. They're starting to associate. I mean, look, I know they're tiptoeing into the manosphere. And what's happened, and let me explain this to you guys. In general, men's issues are becoming more serious. So there's a bigger market for people actually listening to them. But people are realizing it's a grift. So you're getting in these grifters that pretend to give a shit about men, but they don't really. Sydney Watson was one of those. When she's on the Vice's article, Vice's documentary, whatever, with Pearl, and they're trying to talk about feminism and women's issues and shit, she's trying to be a serious journalist. She'll lean on the conservatism then. She'll rely on her army of trad simps then. And by the way, even I was falling for that. But then her true colors show, and once their true colors show, you got to get wise to it. Once you see something like this, I can't go back. I cannot view Sydney Watson in the same way. She's done for me. That's like Tomi Lahren. After Tomi Lahren goes on that rant, she's done for me. When they go on these unhinged feminist rants, you're done, girl. You're done. There's no second try. There's no second chance after that point. They've shown their true colors. The chameleon has gone back to the ugly, wretched creature it is, and you send it away. You tuck it. You tuck it. All right. Yeah. Wow. A lot of mental illness out there. Yeah, people refuse to believe it. And I think the problem is, especially on the right, let me just give you a little summary here. I think the problem is on the right, they just fall for it because people want that. What do people want? People are selling a fantasy. On the left, they are selling you the fantasy of total utopia, equality, everybody, every race, gender, ethnicity. We all live together and sing Kumbaya. Let's forget about the purges. Let's forget about the, sticking people in camps for a jab. Let's forget about that. We want to all sing Kumbaya over there. That's their utopia. The utopia on the other side is, let's sell them the 1960s. Let's sell them the 1950s. Let's sell them the nuclear family. They'll believe that, right? That's traditional, right? Let's sell them that. That's what these guys will buy. They all want that. But it's a bait and switch. The sundress is a bait and switch. The sundress is just a substitute for the girl who's dropped the bikini in the clear heels. You know what I'm talking about? She's climbed down off the pole. She's gone off the streets, and she's in there with the sundress and the hat. The Easter hat and the sundress. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Look into these people. Look at, especially in their past. I mean, it's crazy. Let's see. Some people got me here in the chat. Say, this is good. This is good. Andrew, after 3 months of listening to a chick's advice in the gym, I like it. I like it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's good stuff. I was fat as fuck at one point. I'm not going to lie. I'm not fat as fuck, but I was much fatter. And even now, I've kind of like bulked up. People say, no way this woman is conservative. No, she's an embarrassment to conservative ladies. She is an embarrassment to conservative ladies. But this is feminism. This is what you guys get. It's everywhere. By the way, shout out to Law Nerd Clips. Thanks for staying based. Thanks for having good content. Law Nerd Clips, this shit's going to be really clippable. I know. And I know a lot of people are going to have different takes on this. I know when you clip me and you put it against other people, it's going to be much different. They're not going to go like this. They're scared to go like this because they know what they're poking. And they're afraid. And by the way, they're afraid of women. They're afraid of women's reactions. By the way, I see you ladies in the chat here. What's hilarious to me is they're afraid that women are going to reject them. versus real women, particularly traditional women, which are going to listen because they agree with you. It's only the female content creators they're afraid of. They're really afraid of the snake bites of the world. They're afraid that the female content creators are going to turn on them because you're exposing their grift. I don't give a fuck about that. They can turn on me all they want. I don't care. She was a stripper you tip all night. Then you turn on the lights on and you regret it. Listen, you turn the lights on. No, worse than that. Just Nova. This is the Hangover. I'm in Bangkok and all the Hangover here. It was a pretty good one. I was out in Khao San the other day. She's the stripper that you wake up drunk with, like you can't remember what happened, and you're married, and you knocked her up that night. That's what Sydney is in this case. The relationship you're forming with her in your corporation, this is equivalent to a divorce. This is a corporate divorce. Nothing better, nothing different. It's a corporate form of divorce. This is what you get. This is when your based waifus are not so based. Just saying. But if you do want based waifus, go over and check out my Indiegogo, Adjudicator's Academy on Indiegogo. It's a great project. In the description, get your based waifus. That being said, guys, I'm going to check out here. I got a lot of shit to do in Bangkok. I got to handle some visa shit. I'm glad you guys were hanging with me. Make sure you smash the like button here. And I will be covering this extensively. And I fully expect people to react to this. And I fully expect, I'm going to stay on top of this because I'm the only one out here on top of the thought crimes. I know people are going to have bad takes on this, and I'm going to be all over it. This is 100% what I'm all over. That being said, guys, stay based. Stay real. Take it easy. Catch you later.